32-yard touchdown run.
Well, we'll see what they call, but this is right here. He's going to call. Well, just TU's luck, but that's a play that actually the TU had showed us on film this week that they were expecting, but it's not so much they weren't there, it's that they missed tackles again like they did a couple of weeks ago, and they can't do that in this offense. These guys are good, all of them. They have 3 or 4 guys that can run the football and make you miss, and Tulsa's going to have to swarm around the football and wrap guys up. They can't miss tackles in this game and expect to be successful.
Derek Crabtree with the extra point try. He is 2 away from the school record, held by a guy named Froggy Williams. If you've ever heard him, you know why they call him Froggy. 7-0, a minute and a half gone in the game. We're back for the TU kickoff in a moment. Don King along with Brian Thompson and our effervescent producer today, Randy Carson. 7-0, Rice scores the first time they get the ball in just a minute and a half. And we'll see what Tulsa does. When you and I did a game a few weeks ago against New Mexico State, similar situation. TU goes down and scores on their first drive, and then they kick off. New Mexico State returns the kick for a touchdown. We'll see if Jermaine Landrum, or the other player deep, can do just that for Tulsa. Here's the kickoff by Brandon Skeen. This is Landrum at the 5. Landrum from Veneta to the 20, and the freshman up to the 25-yard line. And that's where Tulsa will set up shop with their freshman quarterback, Tyler Gooch.
Well, look for Jermaine Landrum to get a lot of touches today. I know they want to get the ball in his hands, and it could be they throwing passes. It might be on reverses, but they want to get him some touches because of his speed and his playmaking ability.
Schaefer is the leading player on that offensive line. And then you see Gooch. Richardson will make another start at tailback. Burks, Wimberly, and Monteese Colton getting his first start from the 25-yard line. Power left, they go left. And across the 30-yard line goes the TU running back, and that is not Richardson, but DJ Barnett getting the surprise start, the sophomore out of Okmulgee. As you take a look at the Owls' defensive line, Brandon Green is a good one. Ross Lastly's one of the 2 Oklahomans on this team. He's out of Mustang for you watching in Oklahoma City today. And then backing the line, Pittman and Joe Bob Thompson. You couldn't come to Texas without a Joe Bob. Dan Dawson is a preseason all-conference player. Barnett gets another call. Gets the first down and more to the 40. Up near midfield, DJ Barnett. Nice run before he's run out of bounds by Jason Hebert, number 13.
The Tulsa coaches said DJ Barnett looked good in practice this week, and he's as healthy as he's been in a long time. He's been banged up all season, nagging injuries, and you can see he's even got a little thumb cast on today. But credit those runs right there to the offensive line. Those Hogs, as I like to call them, are doing a nice job up front, locking up and allowing TU to have some success on the ground early.
Uh-oh, 2 men in motion at the same time. No problem. Gooch. Barnett again, hemmed in. Look at him fight forward, though, for a couple of yards. Nice work by the sophomore. DJ Barnett, as Brian mentioned, he'd been hobbled by injuries. Wrist surgery, then knee surgery during the year. Actually played on the team 2 years ago, was part of the team but did not play last season. He'd only had 14 carries coming into this game.
When he's healthy, it gives you 3 guys you can turn to. It gives you Richardson, the freshman McKenzie, and DJ, and those are 3 very capable backs in the TU offense.
2nd down and 8. And Gooch rolling out, has some room, turns it up downfield, gets the first down, and Gooch is gone to the 10. Touchdown, Tulsa.
And that's why the TU coaches love Tyler Gooch, is that he's able to get outside. Now you've got a run-pass option. They covered up and man downfield. Everyone was deep, and they said that their secondary is going to play deep. And so Gooch just sees the opening, and he takes off running it. And one of his receivers did a nice job turning around and getting a block for him, and he just splits him and goes to the end zone and answers for Tulsa.
Chris Ernest will add the extra point, so the freshman has indeed ignited this team on the road in their first drive. And Ernest to try to tie it up. The hold by Limpskin. The kick is good. 11:44 and a whack game has broken out from Houston. Coming back in a moment.
You're watching.
Welcome to Rice Stadium, 70,000 seat stadium. I feel like, and we are at the very top, as you can well tell from the camera view there. Since we are right next to the camera, I feel like 2 birds on a wire. You know, when you're driving down the street and you see the 2 birds, you wonder how lonesome they must be. They'll take this one out. Hatfield gets hemmed in at the sideline, or does it? He scoots out near the 30-yard line. They're going to say he stepped out at the 26. Tyler Gooch with the 50-yard touchdown run, the longest for Tulsa this season. Let's take a look at it, Brian Thompson.
Well, you can see here they go out of the shotgun one back, and they fake a little counter to DJ, and you can see Tyler's looking downfield, but the defensive backs are so deep that Tyler decides to turn and take it himself, and he gets his receivers are smart enough to turn around and block, and he splits the safeties and goes right down the middle of the field, and that's what I like about him, his explosiveness on offense, and he's able to run the ball as well as pass it.
Herm hasn't thrown the ball yet, but he is a wishbone quarterback, can do just that, and he gets whipped in the backfield. Sam Rayburn came in and chopped him down with his leg. And then a flag goes down. Are they going to call him for tripping?
Nope, they're going to call holding on the offensive line. He actually held Sam. That was such a great play by Sam Rayburn, because the center tries to hold him because he makes such a good upfield move, and he's still able to make the play after being held.
For Sam Rayburn, that is his 13th tackle behind the line of scrimmage. He came in 3rd in the WAC in that department.
Well, that was an outstanding play. They were just going to run a little quarterback draw, and Sam Rayburn beat the center upfield, and even after being held was able to make the play. That's just a great effort.
Herm on the option, pitches the football, and wide open is the running back to the 40, out of bounds at the 26-yard line. My goodness, Vincent Hawkins showing some speed, and Keithan McCory again saves 6 points.
Well, we'll have to go back and look at that, but what I said is option football is assignment football. They had the quarterback taken care of, and I believe Thibodeau, which you can see is 27, he's got pitch. And you can see he goes to the quarterback instead of the pitch man. There's nobody on the pitch man, and now he's trailing, and there's no help that he's got to rely on the corner to try and go make the play. But Jeff McInerney told me this week that the free safety is going to have to be the guy to run over and help with the pitch, and he went to the quarterback there, and I don't know if he thought he was going to keep it or not, but nobody on the pitch man. That's it. You're busting assignments.
Go inside the Hawkins again. He tries to bounce outside, and stepping in is Sherman Steptoe, number 2. He's from Duncanville, Texas, one of 3 Duncanville natives for the University of Tulsa, and Rice has a couple from Duncanville as well. After a gain of a couple on that play.
Well, they just run a little counter there, and Sherman Steptoe's had to play a lot this year with CJ was hurt. They've had Reginald Reese hurt. A lot of injuries, but he's done a nice job so far for the Hurricane.
This is a Tulsa defense that came down to Houston last year and beat the Rice Owls and did a good job of stopping this option offense. And that time they stopped the running back for 1 yard. That's Beck, the fullback, a sophomore out of Atlanta.
Again, you look, I watch all these Tulsa defenders getting up off the pile, guys like Lohr, Dupree, Kraus. You've got all Tulsa kids and young kids, freshmen and sophomores, that are in there playing on Tulsa, or playing for Tulsa on offense and defense. And right there, Josh Dupree did a nice job of flying around and stopping the dive.
They show the blitz, and coming up, oh, he almost got him inside the 18-yard line. Dupree came up and got a shoulder pad, but that was all. And then Herm gets hit at the 18, and then a flag goes down. As we take a look at another one of those young players, number 1 for Tulsa, the sophomore George Delonia out of Tulsa Rogers.
Well, we could very well see another holding call.
Yep, it's to you. Let's take a look. There's Dupree.
There's Dupree and
late hit,
late
right
hit
there
on Rayburn.
That would have made it, by the way, 4th and 2 or 3.
Well, in games like this, penalties are huge factors in all games. But a game like this, where the teams are one of Tulsa's better matchups as far as size and speed, penalties are going to kill you and put you in a hole. Right there, where Tulsa's defense does a great job. They give up a big play, but then they come back and stuff them 3 times in a row, and then they get a late hit penalty that gives Rice the first down, and that's tough on the defense.
1st and goal at the 9-yard line. Second man through and nowhere to go. Tulsa was waiting on him.
Well, watch Michael Delaney on this play, and he is a big kid standing out there, and if we see the replay, you'll see on his effort, he flies through, runs through a lead block, runs through an offensive lineman, and makes the play in the backfield. You can see he had 2 guys that tried to block him, but he just bulldozed through there and made the play on the running back.
Nice
Great job by Delaney.
Yeah. Junior linebacker out of Turpin, Texas, where they played 8-man football. It's interesting, they run the bone here on some plays, and yet they look to Ken Hatfield to get the call. We'll see what the defense is going to get set up after a loss of 2. Beck, the fullback, has some room before coming up to nail him Delonia, and then polishing him off is 42, the senior defensive end from Midwest City, Drew McLaughlin.
Well, good job by Delonia. You're going to count on what you said earlier a lot, your safeties to come up and help in option football, and you're right. You can see the Rice offensive players, the running backs are all turning to look to Coach Hatfield, and the coaches on the sideline. They're going to try and wait and see what Tulsa lines up in and see what they can take advantage of in that defense and call the play at the line of scrimmage.
3rd and goal. He hasn't thrown a pass till now, and touchdown Rice. A flag is down as Gavin Booth makes the catch.
It's going to be offensive.
They're going to talk it over.
Booth pushed off right before the ball got there, and I don't know if we'll be able to see it right here, but he gives you don't quite see it, but he gives a shove in the back, and I'd be real surprised if it wasn't interference on the offense on this play.
Cooper Castleberry is today's referee. As you take a look at Booth and now the referee, Castleberry. That would have been good for a 7-yard touchdown pass on 3rd down. As it is, they're going to move it back outside the 15, clear back past the 20.
Well, C.J. Scott did a great job on coverage. Credit that to him. And they actually said, Coach McInerney said this week that C.J. Scott shut him down last year.
Right.
So they expected a lot of the same from them this year. And Booth averages 17.1 yards a catch, and you're going to get that when you play an option team because you're so used to running up and covering the run and all the different options they have, the pitch man and the quarterback, that a lot of times those receivers slip past you and get big plays. And all three of their leading wide receivers average around 17, 18 yards a catch, which is a pretty big average and nice gains when you're throwing the ball downfield.
Keith Burns appreciative of the call. And C.J. Scott, nice to see him in the middle of a play. We haven't seen much of him since the Fresno game. So it's 3rd and goal from the 22. Herm unloads complete inside the 10, out at the 8-yard line. The catch made by Brian's favorite player. I'll let him pronounce the name, Gilbert Okoronkwo. I was hoping he'd be sick today, but that's not the case.
Well, here you see he's able to slide out and find a hole in the zone, but with the penalty, what Tulsa does is they force Rice to kick a field goal, which was a lot better than the other option when Rice was down there at the 3 or 4 yard line and could punch it in for a score. So Tulsa's defense stepping up to the challenge there after giving up a big play, a big run on the pitch. They step it up and maybe hold Rice to a field goal here.
I mentioned the 3 TU players from Duncanville, Texas. So is this kicker, Crabtree. It's pretty automatic from that range, obviously, and the short field goal puts Rice back in front, 10-7, midway through the opening quarter. Let Pizza Hut cook dinner for you tonight. Visit your hometown Pizza Hut for dine-in or carry-out. Choose from your favorite crust topped with fresh toppings and cooked to perfection. Pizza Hut, a taste you can't get anywhere else.
Well, so far we're seeing WAC football at its best. We've seen a quick score by Rice, a quick score by Tulsa. Rice drives down the field. Tulsa's defense does a nice job and holds it to a field goal. Now we'll see if Tulsa's offense can get right back on track. Use Tyler Gooch, mix it up the running game. We'll see if we see DJ Barnett again and move the ball down the field again and score. But what was key for Tulsa when they came out on offense is they established the running game early. They threw no pass in their drive. They're going to attempt one, but Tyler was able to run it. But they've got to establish the running game. Tulsa is not good enough offensively because they're so young that they can get themselves in a lot of situations where they're 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 10, especially with Donald Scholes being out, and bail themselves out. They're going to have to pick up yards 1st, 2nd down and get themselves in 2nd and 4, 3rd and 3, where they give themselves a chance to move Tyler around, and if something's not there, he can run and pick up the 1st down.
You spoke of the youngsters on this team, and I'm sure that's something we'll elaborate throughout the afternoon. But one of the things that strikes me about the difference between these two clubs and their success or lack of this season has been that Rice on offense has started the same 6 guys all 9 games. 7 of their 11 starters have started in every game. Meanwhile, on the TU side, only 3 offensive starters have started every game this year for Tulsa. Here's the kick, handled by Landrum again. His last return was pretty good. This one is up to the 19-yard line.
Well, and let me touch on that point, Don. You talk about that injuries. That plays a major role in college football, especially at Tulsa, where you don't have as much depth as let's say, an OU or Florida or someone like that. Sometimes you don't have guys 2 and 3 deep that have the same abilities as the guy that are your first teamers. So it really hurts you when you have injuries like that. And people look back at OU last year. One of the reasons they were able to make the run to the national championship was no injuries on offense. They were able to stay healthy all year.
They credit Gooch with 49-yarders, you saw in the graphic there. Still the longest run for TU this season. Pitch back, looking for the power sweep. Kevin McKenzie across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Nice run for the freshman out of Chickasha. So they alternate Barnett and McKenzie to start the game.
They just run a little toss sweep. They pull the guard here, and you can see good job by McKenzie following his block. He's able to cut it up inside and find a crease, keeps his feet moving, and they're in the situation they want to be. Now they've got a 2nd, 3, 2nd, 4, and they're going to move their offense all day if they can keep themselves in situations like this.
Mentioned Tulsa won the game down here last year. Donald Scholes had a big game, but he's not playing today, out with a twisted ankle. Bohannon is an H-back. They also have another player, Caleb Blankenship, next to Bohannon, and power football up the gut, and McKenzie is close to the first down marker. And as you mentioned, when you're 2nd and 3, Brian, really helps the offense, and you see it there. Now they're just 3rd and about a foot.
You bet. And I'm telling you, as an offensive coordinator, boy, your day goes a lot smoother when you're having to call those plays rather than when you're lined up in 2nd and 8, 3rd and 10, because you know the defense knows you're going to pass. You can't play action. You can't do anything like that. And you know, a lot of the guessing game you take out of it, it makes it easy on the defense.
Barnett looks as though he's got the first down with ease. Usually in power situations like this, we see Ken Bohannon, but today we have seen McKenzie and Barnett. And
yeah.
Now it's DJ with the first down.
Well, he does a great job, and you can see right there, again, credit to the offensive line. I'm not sure. I think that was Kevin Schaefer, what we call a roach, just pinned his lineman on his back. Got good position inside and ran his feet, allowed DJ to pick up that first down.
Roach, Bohannon, and Blankenship form the power spot on the left side. They'll go that way. McKenzie slides through a tackle up near the 40-yard line. He is brought down by number 43. That's Joe Bob Thompson, one of their linebackers.
Well, this is a set I haven't seen Tulsa in a lot this year. It's almost like a tight slot, a double wing set, and they're pulling the guard around. You can see Tony Caddick there, right there. And, again, they pick up a lot of yards. In McKenzie, they got big Kim Bohannon out there helping to block and clear the way for McKenzie. And he's got some speed. If he gets in the open, you better watch out because he can take the distance.
Only one receiver. That is Wimberly, split to the right of Gooch. Hands off. McKenzie trying to get a block in front of Matt Black, the sophomore out of Claremore. And it's good enough to move the chains again. 5:38 to go opening quarter. Don King, Brian Thompson with you from Rice Stadium in Houston, where Rice leads 10-7.
Well, you can see right here, he just gets his feet moving. Great job by Matt Black, which you mentioned, Don. And they're doing a nice job up front. They're just running a zone, locking, putting body on body, and letting the running backs find a crease and go. And so far, they're doing a nice job running the football.
Tulsa in years past has always played the spoiler role when their opponent this time of year trying to get into a bowl, and that's what Rice is trying to do. Barnett in trouble and hemmed in down at the line of scrimmage, brought down by one of their 3 preseason all-conference players on defense, Jason Hebert.
Well, here's the question for you, Don. I'm wondering why we haven't seen Eric Richardson yet. They talked about Thursday that he was the healthiest he's been in a while. You know, he got a stinger against UTEP that's bothered him every game since then, and they said he's looked the best this week and felt the best since that game, and we haven't seen him yet.
Blankenship in motion. Barnett gets a nice seal block from Caleb and then spins inside the 50 into Rice territory. Picks up about 5, maybe 6 yards to make it 3rd and probably 4 or 5.
3rd and 4 and 5. Here you see it again. Tulsa just runs a little zone, and DJ does a great job of running his feet there, picking up an extra yard or 2, and putting them in a 3rd and mid-range situation here. But I'll tell you what, Tulsa hadn't had to throw the ball. They've got Donald out, which we talked about, but also it's keeping the ball away from that Rice offense. The longer they can keep the ball and run down the field, the less pressure it's going to put on Tulsa defense to stop that option.
Bohannon in motion. Gooch, play action. Fires for Roach, the tight end. Overthrown, well covered. That'll bring up our first punt of the day as Patrick Dindy, number 20, in on the coverage.
Well, that was a straight timing route. You're right. Good coverage by Rice downfield. Ken Bohannon just slides out on a little flood route, and then they send Roach on a little 10-yard out, and it's a straight timing route. And Tyler just threw it a little bit too far out in front of Jared, and he wasn't able to make the catch.
Casey Lipscomb back to punt, averaging 40.8 yards a kick. He's having a pretty solid season. Clint Hatfield bobbles it. Down he goes at the 15-yard line. And coming up with the big play for the Golden Hurricane. Nice job by Cole McNair off the special teams. Coming back with the Rice offense, 3:46 to go, first quarter, and the Owls lead TU 10-7.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Welcome back on a gorgeous day in downtown Houston. Rice Owls leading 10-7. This is their third possession of the first quarter. 3:46 to go. Kyle Herm, some gaudy numbers in the beginning. And he'll try it again. Nice job of tripping him, as laying on his back for the Golden Hurricane was Brandon Lohr. And the freshman from Jinx just reached up and disrupted the play.
Yeah, Lohr did a nice job right there. And one of the things you got to remember about Rice's offense is we say wishbone, but they're lining up a lot of times in a split bone. They're the same personnel is in, but sometimes they'll put the running backs out wide where it looks like they have 4 wide receivers, but they really have running back personnel in there.
Fullback on the dive. That's Jamie Tyler. Not much on that play, and Jorma Bailey jams it inside. The linebacker from Florida.
And again, they're all looking at the sideline to see to have the coach call the play from the sideline. They're not huddling up. They're not really giving Tulsa a chance to sit and think about it. They want to get lined up and call a play at the line of scrimmage. You can see them doing it right here.
Big play for TU defensively here on 3rd and 4. They haven't been able to stop Rice yet. And they still have it on 3rd down as a first down run out near the 30-yard line for number 26. That's Leroy Bradley, his first carry of the game, a senior from Baker, Florida.
Okay, you can see right here, Herm gets the call. Now watch, now we'll see Thibodeau, who's responsible for pitch. He gets there, but now the receiver comes down and cracks him. You'll see 27, he's with pitch all the way now, no confusion, and bam, the wide receiver comes in and cracks on him, so he can't make the play, so now he puts it on the corner, and Steptoe's got to come up and stop the pitch.
And you can't get lulled into a sense that they're going to run the football like the old OU days as Herm gets near the first down marker at the 40, because this kid can throw the football.
Yeah, he can throw it. As a matter of fact, Booth, who had the touchdown pass called back earlier, had 110 yards receiving last week, and that's the most in a Ken Hatfield wishbone attack regime, 110 yards receiving. And, you know, that's not very much when you see guys going now 220 yards a game and 189 yards a game, putting up numbers like that. So that shows you that they can throw the ball a little bit, and they're starting to do it more with this quarterback.
5 touchdowns, no interceptions. First down up to the 47-yard line as flags fly. So we'll see what this one is all about as we do that in the WAC standings. Louisiana Tech 5-1, Hawaii 5-2, Boise State 4-2, Fresno and Rice are each 3-2. How about Fresno? Man, at one time they were the cream of the crop of the WAC, and now they're struggling just to finish in the top 3 spots.
Yeah, but it's always like that when you've kind of got a mystique going like that, where they played so well those first 6 or 7 ball games, and once you take a loss, and I even talked about it, some people said, hey, don't be surprised if they lose a couple more times, because that mystique's gone, and that now that confidence that those players are playing with, like, you know, we can be beat. And there's a little doubt in your mind now, and I'm telling you, that'll allow you to lose close ball games the same as it would to win them if you have that confidence.
Keith Burns gets the interpretation from the official on the side. 2 men moving, illegal motion, 2 players moving at the snap. So a loss of 5 wipes out the first down, and now kind of puts TU's defense maybe at an advantage here. It's 2nd down, 6 yards needed from their own 35-yard line for the Rice Owls. Herm turns it inside and gets up near the first down marker. Be a yard or 2 short. 32, Bailey makes the stop.
Well, Tulsa, I'll tell you what, lines up right there and puts eight guys in the box. And what I mean by that is they have 8 defenders from tackle to tackle. And they just put their receivers, or actually 9 defenders, and put their receivers man-to-man out there. And they did a nice job stuffing that play. You look at Kyle Herm right there. He reminds you a little bit of Goops. They kind of got the same build there.
1 of 3 in 3rd down conversions. A couple of them were actually wiped out because of penalties, so a little bit of a misleading number. Timeout called by Rice with a 3rd and 2 coming up. Be sure to catch Inside Tulsa Football here on Cox Communications. You can join Bruce Howard and Hurricane head coach Keith Burns Monday night at 7 for highlights of today's game with the Rice Owls. In Tulsa, you can catch it at 7 o'clock on Channel 9. And in Oklahoma City, you can catch Inside Tulsa Football Tuesday evening at 6 on Cox Channel 3. Glad to have you with us from the spacious Rice Stadium. 70,000 seats. They used to hold the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl here. In fact, the Houston Texans, which later became the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Houston Oilers played here before the dome was built. The Astrodome is probably about a mile and a half south of us, where they're also building the new Reliant Stadium for the Houston Texans, the new NFL team next year. The replay of today's game coming up Monday afternoon at 12:30 on Channel 9. So if you miss any of it, or you like to see Tulsa with the upset win here today, you can catch it again Monday afternoon at 12:30. Well, I would think after the timeout, we'll see the option. We'll see. Defensive play, a big one here for Tulsa in the first quarter. Instead, fullback has the first down. Even though McCory was there to nab Tyler, Jamie has the first down.
Tell you what, this is smash mouth football right here. There's 11 guys in there close for Rice, and all 11 guys from Tulsa right up by the line of scrimmage. And they're just lining up saying who's going to stop who, and Rice is able to pick up the yard.
6 first downs on the day for the Owls. Interesting that this Rice team 3-8 a year ago, 6-3 this season. Herm now throwing deep, got a man wide open. Touchdown Rice on the catch by Leroy Bradley. We talked about how they'll lull you to sleep running the football, and then Herm throws the touchdown pass. That's his 8th of the year.
And this is what we talked about, how dangerous it is. They fake a little midline option down the line, and Thibodeau gets sucked up on the option, and they release Bradley right down the field. Bradley's got a 19-yard average, and that's why is usually when they throw the football, those guys are running wide open because they're so dangerous on the option. Guys have to come up and cover. We saw in the first quarter, Thibodeau was a little late getting up there on the pitch, and that time he's going to get there and do his assignment, and they fake the option and hit someone right down the middle of the football field.
Derek Crabtree can tie a school record with his 75th career point after, and he does so. 41 seconds remaining opening quarter as we stay here, and Rice now has built a 10-point advantage, 17-7 on an 83-yard drive, capped by the 58-yard pass from Kyle Herm to Leroy Bradley. Keith Burns talking it over with the defense, and while he does that, we'll talk to you about TU men's basketball. It's coming up Monday night, November 19th, as the defending NIT champions host Grambling at the Reynolds Center. If it's a sellout, and it should be, live coverage will begin at 7 o'clock. Grambling against Tulsa. Monday night, November 19th on Cox Channel 3 in Oklahoma City and Channel 9 in Tulsa, the debut of Tulsa native John Phillips as the new Golden Hurricane head coach.
Well, Tulsa's going to get another shot here on offense. They moved the ball again last drive. They did a nice job. They moved the ball 30, 40 yards down the field. And it's just going to be a battle the whole game. Rice is obviously going to be able to move the football. Tulsa's just going to have to try to and take advantage of the opportunities if they can get a turnover on the option or force them in a third and long situation and maybe get a 3-and-out series. And then Tulsa's going to have to get out there and move the football on offense and put the ball in the end zone.
Short kick, taking Landrum at the 12. And nowhere to go. Coming up for Rice was Clifford Sparks, a freshman defensive back. And so Tulsa will take over just shy of the 20-yard line again.
Well, I'm still waiting. We hadn't had to see much of the passing game thus far, but we haven't seen much of the passing game from Tulsa. But
is this the time to do it, or do you continue
with
your game plan?
You continue with your game plan. You're down 10, and like I said, you want to keep Rice's offense off the field. And certainly they've had success running the ball, and you don't want to get away from that.
Chadwick at right tackle, joined by Roach at the tight end spot. Barnett tries to go the other way, and the defensive end swallows him. That is 87, Brandon Green.
But what I'm anxious to see is how these kids are going to step up in the absence of Donald Scholes, and if they can have success throwing the football. And definitely, I've seen these guys play before. They're capable. And Jermaine Landrum's coming into the game, and I'm waiting to see that. I think they're going to have some things for him. They want to get the ball in his hands somehow because he has game-breaking speed. I mean, he has the ability to take it and score every time he touches the football, and they want to get him some touches.
Into the first quarter here in Houston, Texas. Come back with a second in a moment. Rice 17, Tulsa 7. TU football continues in a moment on Cox Communications.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
What was that?
Welcome back. We were just talking about this stadium actually hosted a Super Bowl, one of the early Super Bowls here. You wonder why they'd have a 70,000 seat stadium. Rice University enrollment-wise is about the same size, actually pretty close, within a couple of hundred students of Tulsa. Wow, what a hit that was. Landrum got belted at the 21-yard line and a gain of 2.
Well, there it was. They're trying to get him the ball, and like I said, he shows some quickness there, quick burst, but he's still, the only thing about Jermaine is he's still a freshman, and sometimes they say he'll play like a freshman and make freshman mistakes, but he does a nice job right here. He just takes a little tunnel pass, a little underneath screen, but boy, Engler comes in there and lays a lick on him.
Junior linebacker introduced himself. Third down and 8. For Gooch, we just started the second quarter. Tulsa down by 10, 17-7. Oh, close as Burks to the first down markers. He wipes out a gentleman from the chain gang. I think the Kelly product will be a yard short. So now, down 17-7. Do you go for it on 4th and 1, or do you punt? And they will kick.
They're going to punt. Well, Burks tries there. I was going to say he needs to know where the sticks are, but he does do a nice job. He turns a little late to try and see the chains there. I think they're going to have to bring in a new chain. I think he bent that one up pretty good. But Tyler just doing a little sprint out. Good protection by the offensive line, but they've got to get past the sticks and get that first down.
Hatfield calling for the fair catch. Nice roll by Lipscomb. And this one will roll dead at the 21-yard line. We'll take a break, come back, see if they can get the chain gang corrected. See if we can get the TU defense to come up with a big turnover. Stay with us.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Just a little bit north of us from Rice Stadium is downtown Houston. Had a nasty storm there this past summer. Parking garages underneath some of those buildings were flooded. They finally dug their way out of that. Beautiful day here today in Houston. A minute gone, second quarter. Rice has the ball in a 10-point lead, and for some reason, the Owls come out. They're confused, and they need a timeout. They'll have to burn their second timeout here in the first half. We haven't seen Donald Scholes today, and a good reason for that, the twisted ankle that he was hampered with last Sunday in practice.
Well, the good thing on that is they said it's a low ankle sprain. It's not high like Corey Brown had last year that kept him out for so long. It's lower in the ankle, or Tyler had one like that too, but it's lower in the ankle, and they think he'll be back.
So look at some of the games coming up that you can see here on Cox Communications. And the University of Tulsa schedule, they will play tonight, 7 o'clock, against a worldwide foreign team. There aren't many foreign teams throughout the country now doing exhibition games.
I thought that was the WWF.
WWF, that's what you had written down there. They're not in town yet. Then you see Grambling coming up Monday, November 19th. 2 weeks from tonight, they'll take on Morris Brown, and then November 28th, Arkansas comes to town. And then the ORU game, Saturday afternoon, December 1st.
Well, you just saw they put up the total offensive numbers, 107 for Tulsa and 240 for Rice, but the biggest difference is passing.
Robbie Beck has some room up the gut. Caught from behind and dropped at the 35-yard line. If it wasn't for McLaughlin, he might have gone a little bit farther.
here you see Herm, and they do a nice job, good job blocking downfield, and a missed tackle there. That's what hurts Tulsa. They've actually got him. They're in position to stop him for about a 2-yard gain, and they miss a tackle. And I think George Loney missed a tackle, and he's off to the races. Dan picks up 10 or 12 more.
That has really been the problem with this Tulsa squad this year, hasn't it? Just been missing tackles.
Yeah, and sometimes, and I know this sounds funny, but it's kind of contagious. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
I remember in practice some days, if one wide receiver started dropping balls, then another one kind of would. It's kind of contagious. Same thing. Usually in games, it kind of comes in waves where if you see, 1 or 2 guys missing tackles, it seems like there's 3 or 4 more now. And I don't know what it is, but Tulsa has done a much better job in the last 2 games of wrapping up and tackling. And there, I hope George is all right. He came in and tried to put a pretty good shot on Beck, and I don't know if he got it. He looks like maybe he got a stinger, but we hope he's okay.
Free safety, the sophomore out of Tulsa, Rogers. This has been a team that has been besieged with injuries this year. 9 first downs for Rice, and they've got another one after the 15-yard run by Beck. They show blitz. Here comes Delaney. Dupree tries to grab him, can't, and up to midfield before Brad Hawkins brings the running back. Vincent Hawkins down.
Man, I'll tell you what, watch this cut by Vincent Hawkins. Keithan McCory's got him hemmed up right there where he has nowhere to go, and he's standing still, moves laterally so quickly that he's able to get away from the pursuit and find a hole in the backside and go pick up some nice yardage for Rice.
Herm, play action, has the man open. Great catch inside the 20-yard line. Another nice grab by Gilbert Okoronfro, the 6'3" senior wideout from New Orleans, second leading receiver on the team.
Well, good. Again, there's the play action. I was looking down here to the bottom side, and Booth was down here covered, and I thought Tulsa did a good job. But actually, Herm was looking for the backside post against Steptoe, and he ran a hard backside post off that play action. And Herm throws the ball out there, lays it out there nice, and he goes out and makes the catch. 37 yards down to the 14-yard line. Beck is the fullback. The left halfback is 32 Hawkins. The right halfback is 21 Derek Gray. And Herm has to burn their last timeout of the first half. Actually, I beg your pardon. It's a delay of game. They'll take the penalty. I thought they were going to call the timeout, but they didn't. Well, I can see Coach Hatfield down there. He's not too happy, and I don't know if it's with his quarterback or the coaches. They have 2 coaches on the Rice sideline in red shirts, and that's so it makes it easily visible. You can see in there next to Coach Hatfield that it makes them easily visible to the quarterback. And you can see they both signal. One of them sending in dummy signals, and the other one's giving them the actual signal. You don't know which is which, and they do that so Tulsa can't pick up on their signals. But something that is, there's a miscommunication down there, and Coach Hatfield didn't like it. Wow, there's Gavin Booth, one of the leading receivers in the conference, and he pulls it out of the air and puts 6 more on the board for the Owls. I'll tell you what, this is an athletic, a great catch. Right there you can see, I mean, he's all over, CJ's all over him, and he just gets inside, but Booth goes up and reaches back behind him and turns his body around, great body control, and makes a real athletic catch. And just credit that to being an athlete and a good wideout. I mean, CJ's in position, but Booth just makes an athletic play there and goes up and gets the football. Crabtree will attempt to tack on the 24th point for Rice here in the first half. And he does so. So the Golden Hurricane offense now is going to be coming on the field, and we'll see what they can do. Early second quarter from Houston.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Don King, Brian Thompson, and our producer Randy Carson welcoming you back to Houston. For the Rice Owls, 6-3 on the year, and yet haven't played a home game in quite some time. This is the second straight year they've played here against Tulsa back-to-back years in Houston. You might wonder, well, why weren't they playing in Tulsa this year? With Boise State and Louisiana Tech into the conference now, you have to have 4 home games and 4 road games. So it just worked out that Tulsa has had to come down to Houston the last couple of years. Keith Burns won his first game as head coach here, but it's not off to a good start today unless Landrum can do something, and he gets upended, loses the football, and Rice has it at the 21-yard line. Ouch. Tulsa had only fumbled the ball 3 times all season, and the 4th one is costly.
Yep, you can see here Landrum, and like I said, this is maybe a ball he shouldn't have taken out. He gets it in the end zone, and he's got it out there. He has the ball a little bit too far away from his body, and the defender just gets his hand in there and knocks that ball away. And boy, that's a mistake, a fresh mistake there that you don't want to happen. And I saw Keith Burns looking at the special teams coach, and I don't know if it was, hey, should he be taking that out of the end zone? But he's got such good speed that he probably thinks he can get out there and make a play at any time.
Well, you just know that the team, somebody's trying to make a play, and that's, you can't give him any fault for that. Look at this run inside the 5-yard line by Jamie Tyler. He's a handful, big senior fullback out of Austin. A couple of years ago had 186 yards in a game against TCU. Hasn't done much this year. He does here, a 17-yard run.
Well, this will be a huge test for Tulsa mentally, because those are the situations that can break you. When you're coaching, that's what you do. You say, hey, we get another one on them, it'll break them. It'll break the spirit, break them mentally. And we'll see how Tulsa does right here, whether Rice scores or not, to see how they respond, because they still got a chance. You're down, 24-7, but you score a touchdown that drive, it's 24-14, you're right back in it. But now you turn the ball over and you make it tough on your defense, and we'll see how Tulsa responds right here.
No gain as Tyler gets stopped by Jeff Thibodeau. He's making another start out of the secondary, and a new quarterback into the game, Greg Henderson, the freshman out of Wichita Falls. So 2nd and goal from the TU 4. Tyler again. Got him to the 4. Now he gets him to the goal line. Touchdown, Rice.
Here's another look at it. They run Tyler twice in a row to smash mouth football. Just run a little off tackle play to him, and he's able to drive his legs and get across the goal line. But I'll tell you what, Rice has looked, besides the fact that was a short drive, they've looked stellar on offense. Herm, who we talked about before the game, was responsible for so much of their offense, kind of the general. He is 4 for 4, 129 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, and rushed for 71 yards on top of that, and that's all in a little over a quarter.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Rice was down 31-7, came back and forced overtime. Rice has played in 2 OT games this year. Can Tulsa do the same? Plenty of time left.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Once again, with veteran game tomorrow.
first half has accounted for 345 yards of offense. And in the last 2.5 games now, Tulsa's defense has surrendered 1,600 yards. They have not been able to keep away from giving up the big play. And that's how Tulsa won down here last year, was preventing the big play, because Rice had ground out at 335 yards in that game. But Tulsa won it thanks to a couple of big plays of their own by Donald Scholes. Here's a high kick taken at the 15-yard line. This is Steptoe, who steps past one defender and gets up to the 23-yard line. Tulsa's offense has really not had much to work with here in the second quarter. Only 2 plays, and since they last left the field, it was 17-7. It's now 31-7. First down from the 24-yard line. Tyler Gooch at quarterback. We have not seen Eric Richardson today. Kevin McKenzie and DJ Barnett have done the running duties. And Gooch on the run. Nice catch, nice throw, and out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Give that one to 84, the guy replacing Scholes today. That's a redshirt freshman, Montez Colton.
Tell you what, this is a nice throw by Tyler Gooch and a good catch. Good job on the play action. It buys Tyler some time, and you can see he's got a pretty strong arm, but it looked like everyone was covered as the route was developing, and Montez slid to the outside through a crack, and Tyler put the ball on the money there. A nice little timing route, and a good throw by Tyler, enabling them to get the first down.
5th first down of the game moves them up to the 43-yard line. And Gooch, who has the touchdown for Tulsa today on a 49-yard touchdown run, gets a yard out of all of that as he is dropped by John White, the sophomore strong safety.
Well, decent job here by Tyler. This could very well have been a negative play for Tulsa. You can see right here he's able just to bounce it outside and show his athletic ability, and able to actually pick up a yard on that play.
He was a 2-year starter, was Gooch, at Union High School in Tulsa, and took them to the state championship game both seasons. As a junior, he was an athlete playing quarterback. But Brian, as a senior, he really kind of figured out how to play quarterback.
He did, and Coach Blankenship did an excellent job with him, and really enabling him to use all of his abilities, running and throwing the football, his last year at Union.
He hits another freshman out of Tahlequah, Clint Roundtree, and a first down for Tulsa. Now my question to you is, Gooch still learning the position of quarterback now that he's gone from high school to college?
Well, you can see out here he does a good job getting the ball to Roundtree, and you ask a great question, and he'll be learning for the next 2 years, Don. The game, the speed of the game, as you go from level to level, from high school to college and college to the NFL, it changes drastically. And so there's a lot of things to learn. I mean, a lot more things you can do on defense and offense in college. You have better athletes all the way around, and you can be a lot more complicated. So he'll be learning for a while.
Good pocket protection, and this one over the middle intended for Colton. Knocked away. A lot of blue shirts were there, and that'll bring up second down.
And one of the things when I talk about learning, understanding the speed, is where it looks like guys are open, those gaps just close that much faster. Sometimes you'll think someone's open for a glimpse and they're not. And right there, Tyler, actually it looked like on the replay, great job by the camera operators. Montez just missed that ball. Tyler put it in there, and he had a chance to catch it. It looked like it went off his shoulder pads.
Keith Burns was an assistant at Rice University from 1989 to 92. Out of the gun, Tyler loads, hands to McKenzie, who picks up a yard or 2. Rice says he fumbled, but McKenzie was down as he coughed it up, so it's third down and long.
Well, I would think right here we're going to see the same type of stuff. We're going to see him spread Rice out, and they're going to move Tyler around, move the pocket, let him get to the outside where he can see the field, and also give him a run-pass option.
See if he did fumble. Nope. I think he was down.
Yeah, it was close. It looked like that he was down, though, before that ball popped out.
So third down play here for the Golden Hurricane. Gooch has three wide receivers. He's looking, and Had the receiver open, but that time he misfires looking for a former Union player, former Union teammate Daryl Wimberly. And they'll probably go for it here at the Rice 41, facing 4th and 8.
Well, Daryl was actually open. He was the single receiver to near TU sideline and actually was open, and Tyler just threw the ball a little short. But I'm telling you, I think Gooch throws the ball better when he can get outside of the pocket. He can move and then set his feet. He can see the field. I think he just feels a little more comfortable. And that time,
I agree.
He just stepped up in the pocket. He's short on it.
So it's 4th down, and Tulsa's going for it. They show blitz, and here they come. Tyler uses his ability to escape and fires for the first down at the 27-yard line. And it's Colton again, who had come into the game with only 1 catch, and it wasn't even an official catch for a 2-point conversion.
Well, Don, tell me, which is a harder throw? This where he's going to his left, having to throw back across his body, or the earlier pass, the play before they threw in the pocket. That's a much tougher pass, but Tyler puts it right on the money. But like I said, he's moving out of the pocket there, and I think he's a lot more comfortable doing that, throwing the football, than he is standing in that pocket and trying to throw the ball downfield.
Gain of 15 on the play that moves it down to the Rice 26-yard line. And you see the passing game opening up the running game a little bit as the freshman from Chickasha, Kevin McKenzie, gets yet another run. His season high this year had been 6 carries for 16 yards against Hawaii. And since we haven't seen Richardson today, McKenzie has just carried the ball for his 5th time.
Yeah, and we're still not sure why Eric Richardson's not playing, but certainly McKenzie's done a nice job along with Barnett. But Tulsa did some nice things earlier formation-wise to confuse Rice, and I think now they're adjusting to him a little better, and they're not getting quite as big as gains rushing the football as they were earlier in the game.
Blankenship in motion. Roach, the tight end, on the left. Wimberly, the lone wide receiver, and Gooch is going. Double coverage. Incomplete. And it looked as though 29 might have got a hand on it. That's Morris Barnes, the freshman cornerback. I'm not so sure Wimberly, who played defensive back at Union, didn't play a little defense on this.
Well, not really a good decision by Tyler Heron to double coverage, but actually Daryl still sees an opportunity to go get the football and tries to lay out and split him. And in trying to make the catch, actually knocks it out of the Rice defender's hands and allowed him not to intercept the football.
Now they go trips right. Wide out and Roach, the tight end, is split left on 3rd down and 8. Screen pass set up, nicely done. That looks like Eric Richardson inside the 20. It is his first call of the day, and Eric gets it inside the 20 to the 19. Let's take a look.
I like this call. Good call against the rush. The only problem is Matt Black's out here by himself, and there's 2 guys to block, and he turns back inside and is not able to pick up the last defender. But I think that's a good call by Tulsa. They brought the rush hard, and a good time to slide Eric Richardson in there, and good call on 3rd down.
And they have called a timeout to talk over this 4th and 2 situation. Today's game from Houston, Texas is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Let Pizza Hut cook dinner for you tonight. Visit your hometown Pizza Hut for dine-in or carry-out. Choose from your favorite crust topped with fresh toppings and cooked to perfection. Pizza Hut, a taste you can't get anywhere else. We were looking for Pizza Hut last night after our flights were delayed.
I'm a Pizza Hut guy all the way.
Cox Digital coming your way. 240 channels of sports, movies, and family shows. Of course, those are the numbers to call if you're in Tulsa. 665-0200, or if you're in the Oklahoma City market, 600-8282. With Cox Digital Cable, you can receive, again, over 240 channels of sports, movies, and family programming. Subscribe today to Cox Digital. Don King, Brian Thompson with you from Rice Stadium. Rice leading 31-7. It was 17-7 going into the 2nd quarter. Rice scored to make it 24-7 on a long touchdown pass, and then TU fumbled the ensuing kickoff. Rice scored a couple of plays later. And Tulsa, who has already converted a 4th down on this drive, now faces 4th and 2 from the Rice 18. Gooch in trouble. And did he catch it? No signal, yeah. Touchdown, Tulsa. Jarrett Nixon with his first touchdown of his career at the University of Tulsa. He is a Houston product, the tight end from Houston Bel Air High School. How about that?
Well, I'll tell you what, a great call. I like the bootleg call because it gets Tyler out here, and then he just makes an athletic play and reverses field, and everyone's forgotten. Jarrett Nixon probably, when he saw Tyler turn back, reverse field in the end zone, and Tyler's able to see down the field and able to lob that ball up over the top of the defender, and Nixon makes a good catch in the end zone. So I like good call by the Tulsa coaches right there, putting the ball in Gooch's hands. It's a 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Pretty gutsy call, letting him bootleg there and make something happen.
Let's take a look at how they actually got down here. The screen pass to Eric Richardson for 6 yards to set up the 4th and 2 play. And there is the young man from Houston, Jarrett Nixon, who hasn't caught many passes while at TU. He is a senior. He's played wide receiver and tight end. He's played in all 9 games. As you take a look at the drive, 11 plays, 76 yards. He'd had only 1 catch for 7 yards all year, but he comes in his hometown, not only makes the big play of 18 yards, but it's good for a touchdown. And I'll be honest, I never saw him back there. I thought Tyler was throwing the ball away.
Yeah, and Nixon is, and if I'm not mistaken, Don, I think he's even played some defensive back too. They've kind of mixed and matched him. He's been back and forth, so it's nice to see him here in his hometown able to come in and make a play on offense and score a touchdown.
Well, the good news is they put 6 on the board. The bad news is they couldn't put 1 more. Apparently, Ernest missed the extra point as we were looking at the replay, and so the score remains 31-13. 7:22 to go, first half. At halftime, we'll visit, at least we hope to visit, with the Western Athletic Conference Commissioner, Carl Benson. And Tulsa, who has turned the ball over once and has cost him 7 points, would love nothing more than to force the turnover here as Hatfield returns it up to the 20, finds a lane to the 30, and down at the 40-yard line, and the kicker, Ernest, had to bring him down. Boy, special teams has just been a sore spot sometimes this year.
And you know what? You can see, Don, you can see right there when he catches the football, you can see the lane open up.
Yeah.
And usually the cause of that is guys are getting out. On kickoff, they have lanes they've got to run down, and guys are getting knocked out of their lane. If a guy comes up to block you, and you need to avoid that and get right back in your lane, and it doesn't look like the Tulsa kickoff, especially people are getting back in their lanes because you can see the hole open up. And Ernest actually did a nice job there for a kicker, making that tackle and saving the touchdown.
Greg Henderson on the handoff to the fullback Beck. He's dropped by 97, Brandon Lohr, number 10, Michael Delaney at the 45-yard line. Gain of 4 on the play.
Well, I'll tell you what, this gives one of the things that's nice about Tulsa's offense going on a long drive. It gives Tulsa defense a chance to rest, and also it puts a little spark under you. Said, hey, we can score if we go out and get a hole. Maybe we can get another one and maybe go in 31-20.
Henderson, the backup quarterback to Herm, who was brilliant in this first half. Now hands off and a gain of about 5 up to midfield. One thing that Tulsa has really suffered through this season, one of the reasons they're in the midst of a 7-game losing streak, is the fact that they haven't forced many turnovers. Last year, they would come up in a very similar situation like this, BT. They could come up with the big turnover. C.J. Scott was one of those reasons why. And this year, they just haven't been able to come up with any turnovers, even though they're only -3 in the turnover ratio. Henderson looking for the first down, has it, and more inside Tulsa territory, down at the 38-yard line. Michael Delaney, who leads the team in tackles, number 10, and 3rd in the conference, makes the stop.
Well, you can see right here, I don't know if this is a counter option plan or it's a busted play, and Henderson just turns it into a good play, but it looks like just a little counter option, and he sees a crease in the line and turns it upfield. But you mentioned about the turnovers, Don. I think one of the things is Tulsa's giving up more big plays, and if you make them take it, 3 and 4 yard chunks at a time, those are more opportunities for you to get turnovers. I think they've given up more big plays this year, and they haven't had as many opportunities to get takeaways on defense.
Gain of 6 on first down to the Tulsa 32-yard line.
Right
The
here,
blocking.
Yep, great job. It's just a little shotgun draw to Henderson, and I'm not sure actually. It doesn't look like Herm's hurt on the sideline. He's just kind of standing over there. So I don't know if they feel comfortable enough about their lead. They're going to give their backups and the experience or what.
Josh Dupree makes the play on the running back, and there is a flag down. By the way, if you haven't heard or if you watched the Oklahoma-Texas A&M game, Don King, Brian Thompson with you from Houston, where today Oklahoma fell behind 10-0, but comes back to hammer the Aggies 31-10. So the third-ranked Sooners keep their bowl possibilities alive.
5 yards to the previous spot. First down.
Is that you? You came
I
on
come
the
over the
referee?
PA?
Yeah, when he turned on his, clicked on his deal there. So now everyone in the stadium knows the score.
Hello, Houston.
There you get a look at Coach Burns. Boy, he's pretty intense down there, and he's a defensive guy, so he's in the middle of this.
Henderson, let's see if he's got a gun for an arm. Yes, he does, and what a catch. Holy smokes. Brian's favorite wideout, Oka Run Crow with the catch.
Well, same play we saw earlier. Look, they faked the dive option, and he goes back and hits the backside post on step toe, and they're just letting the wide receivers get inside of him. You can't give away that inside leverage on the post, and those Booth and Oka Run Crow, or I really can't pronounce it, but Gilbert can't. They're both big, tall, rangy receivers, and they get out in the field and run. You've got to do something to funnel them back outside, but you can't let those guys get inside of you, and they're just faking that dive option and backing up and hitting the backside post. They've done it twice now, and he's made great catch both times.
26-yard pass play. A team that is one of the country's best at running the football has 3 touchdown passes today. 4:50 to go. First half. Rice 38. Tulsa 13.
Well, Tulsa's just going to have to now. I mean, their defense is going to have to. They're going to have to get a stop here sometime. They're going to have to go 3 and out, and they didn't help them early on the turnovers, and their field position hadn't been just excellent of giving them a long field to go. But you know, Tulsa's offense is just going to have to try and start matching them touchdown for touchdown, and see if at some point the defense can get a stop and they can try and catch up a little bit.
Rice is trying to catch this team, Louisiana Tech, for the WAC championship. If they win today, they'd be just a game behind La Tech. The Bulldogs come to Skelly Stadium Thanksgiving weekend, Saturday, November 24th, 2 weeks from today. Hope you'll join us for same-day coverage in Oklahoma City on Channel 3, Tulsa on Channel 9. It's La Tech, one of the new members in the WAC, along with Boise State, and they're both fighting Hawaii for the championship, along with Fresno and the Rice Owls. This thing could really come down to the last game of the week, of the last weekend, and they're all 5 teams are battling for 2 or maybe even 3 bowl games. So it's 38-13. Tulsa would love a big return here from Steptoe. Sherman spins away across the 30 up to the 32-yard line, and that's where Tulsa will set up. 4:38 to go. First half. Let's take a look at one of those young men from Duncanville, Texas.
Well, Steptoe does a nice job. And you can see he protects the football right there and gets it up close to his body. And you notice that they took Jermaine Landrum off after that fumble, and maybe Keith Burns saw the same thing, that maybe he made a fresh mistake and had the ball a little wide, but they've got Steptoe back there now. He did a pretty good job on that return.
Last time Tulsa had the ball, they scored. Gooch hands it. McKenzie runs it, spins to the 40. Nice job, 7 yards on first down.
Well, I'm impressed with McKenzie. He had speed, but he's been running tough today. He gets around traffic, and he keeps his legs going, and he'll pick up that extra 1 or 2 yard most every time. I mean, those things start to add up. Like I said, it could be, you know, 2nd and 5, or with extra effort on his part, you know, now it's 2nd and 2.
Other final score today in college football: Miami of Florida, the #1 ranked team, number 2 in the BCS, beat Boston College today 18-7. So with Oklahoma's win, we'll see how that shapes up in the BCS this week. Ouch. Gooch to Roach, and that was, Jared's like, why are you throwing it to me in this situation?
I was wondering the same thing. There was 3 guys kind of forming a bubble around Jared, and Tyler just kind of flipped it to him right in the middle of it. I'm not sure. It looked like Tyler was going to run it. I thought he was going to run it on his own, but you can see he comes around here. Great job by Black, and he just kind of, you can see there's 3 guys around Roach, and I'm surprised that Tyler just didn't take it himself and run up the sideline.
After all of that, a gain of a yard up to the 41. 3rd down and 2. Power football here. If Barnett can get past that defender, and he can. He'll be a yard shy the first down.
See, I would have liked to see Tulsa do the bootleg again there on a 3rd and short. Boot Tyler back out and get the run pass option. And I like good. Tulsa's going to go right here. You need to. It's even though you're on your own side, what do you have to lose at this point? I mean, it's 38-13. You might as well try to make something happen here and keep the football, keep their offense off the field.
Well, they did it the last drive and converted on 2 4th downs. The last one good for 6. 4th and 2 for Gooch. Right up the middle and nowhere. 99, the big 305-pound defensive tackle was waiting for them. Larry Brown, and the nose guard just stuffs that play.
Well, the difference was last time they went for it, they weren't on their own 40, but Tulsa just gets in an A set. They just put one back there, Kim Bohannon, their big back, and they just try to load up and say, we're going to mash you. And it doesn't work again. I'm not sure they shouldn't have done something to boot Tyler out, but irregardless, now Rice has a short field to go, 40 yards to go here on offense.
So now they put a little pressure on this TU defense. Quite frankly, has had trouble stopping Rice today. In fact, they haven't made him punt yet. And Henderson, who's one of 2 quarterbacks to play today, angles his way down near the 35-yard line.
Tulsa does a good job on the quarterback, but the thing that scares me there is they didn't have anyone on pitch. Rice had all the pitch defenders blocked as well, so if he pitches that football, he's off to the races.
No, Keith Burns was talking earlier in the week. Here's a Rice team that last season, again, didn't have much success, won only 3 games, and yet Ken Hatfield stayed with it. Now they've turned it around and won 6 games, including a 4-game winning streak this year. So there are teams that don't have much success, and the next year they do. And Sam Rayburn out of Chickasha coming up. Sam has had a big game today. That's his 2nd sack of the day.
Well, I'll tell you what, another thing about Sam Rayburn, not only is he playing well, he actually had, coming into this ball game, 12 tackles for a loss and just needed 4 more to tie the school record. He's got 2 today. He could actually, the way he's playing today, break the school record for tackles for a loss. And we saw it early in the game. He just beat the nose guard right off the football, and he's done a good job today.
Henderson has already thrown a TD pass, and C.J. Scott on the coverage over Gavin Booth. Nice job by the Tennessee Player of the Year a couple of years ago for Tulsa.
Great job by C.J. Scott there, stride for stride with Booth. And this is what we saw a lot from T.J. last year. Even though undersized, he was able to make plays. And I think one of the things we forget is C.J.'s been out almost the whole season. He doesn't have a lot of game experience this year, and sometimes it takes a while, especially when you're out there on an island by yourself like the DBs are. Very tough position to kind of get in the groove and start seeing things again and start playing well.
Travis Hale is into action for the first time today. The punter from Duncanville, Texas. That'll hit right at the 20, and not much of a bounce for Travis Hale, and Tulsa will have it near the 20-yard line. Minute 4 to go, first half. We mentioned early in the broadcast, Rice has a couple of kickers. Crabtree, their place kicker, and the punter Hale from Duncanville, Texas. That's the same hometown as Sherman Steptoe for the University of Tulsa, and a couple of other Tulsa players.
I believe Montes Colton is from
Duncanville
as well. But that's how it goes a lot of times when you're out, when your coaches, you're out recruiting in college. You'll get, a lot of times you'll go to look at one player and you'll get the film and you'll be like, hey, who's that other kid? He looks pretty good too. And you'll ask the coach, and sometimes you'll get players that way. There'll be an unknown guy, and you go to look at somebody else, and someone else kind of sticks out on the field that you like.
Richardson, Eric Richardson is the other Duncanville, Texas player. In fact, Tulsa has 10 players from Texas on the squad. This screen pass to Barnett, good for a couple. What's it like, Brian, you playing at Nathan Hale and then playing at the University of Tulsa, early 80s or late 80s, early 90s? What's it like to play against guys that you might have grown up against in the Tulsa area or played with all at Nathan Hale? Different?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, a little bit, but it's exciting. I mean, you like to play against guys that from around from your area. I mean, you look at TU's team; they've got a lot of the guys are the guys that played against each other all year. The Union Jinx guys, a lot of those guys, and you just take it to another level. But like I said, there's such a difference in the speed that it's a different game. High school, we actually had, and I don't mean to interrupt the coverage here, but Damon Savage, who was a star wideout at Tulsa, came and talked to our team at Hall & Hall a couple of years ago and made a great point. And you can see Tyler here. Good ball outside to Monteith, but he said high school is the last time that it's just pure fun. In college now, it's more of a business than a job, and these guys really have to go out and really prepare themselves. And in high school, it's fun and enjoyable. So a little different in high school than it is in college.
11-yard pickup to Colton. Has had a nice game. Up to the 32-yard line. Tulsa trying to put something on the board before halftime. That one either thrown behind one receiver, Roundtree 89, or in front of the other receiver that flashed through, and that was Landrum, number 13.
Well, there you see Tyler. He's again. I'm always surprised by, and you mentioned this earlier of how he's learning quarterback. Tyler Scott, that kid's got a pretty strong arm. I mean, when he sits back there and throws the football, still I would almost send him out every time. I'd roll him out almost every time because he's making better throws when he gets outside of that pocket.
Offensive line has done a pretty good job protecting him. Here's another pass to Colton, replacing Donald Scholes today. And Monteith is up at the first down marker. Nice job for the freshman. They call him Money, and he has certainly had some plays today that would lend to the nickname.
See, now if Monteith keeps going on this pace, Don, you're going to have to deal with Chris Blank when you get back in town. That was his.
That's right.
That was his underrated player that he was saying was going to break out. And so far, Monteith has looked pretty good. Smart play by him right there to try and dive forward to get the first down.
TU women's basketball comes along soon on Cox Communications. Kathy McConnell Miller's crew looks to be pretty sharp here in the early going. They'll take on their crosstown rival Oral Roberts University coming up Tuesday, November 27th at 7 o'clock. And there you see some of the other games. Arkansas, and then into the conference action with Nevada, Fresno State, Boise State, and SMU.
Now, I've heard through the grapevine that they're supposed to be
they're
pretty solid this year.
They're expecting a pretty good season, and they whipped a team a couple of weeks or a few days ago, a Russian team, by 23 points. Got an exhibition game coming up Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Just shy of the first down is Colton.
Well, certainly you go for it now if you went for it. If you
You
went
would
for
think.
it on 4th and 1 for the 40 with 2 or 3 yards to go.
Dan Bitson, one of the great receivers in Tulsa history, talking it over with his arm around Tyler Gooch.
I'm sure he's relaying stuff from Coach Gilstrap. I'll tell you what, I can talk to you for hours about Dan Bitson. That guy is, I'll tell you what, Tulsa's fortunate to have him back on the coaching staff. I mean, what a tremendous talent. I was just fortunate enough to be able to play around him and be around him. I mean, an unbelievable athlete and wide receiver. I was just amazed at the things, even as a player watching him at the University of Tulsa, of the things that he could do on the field.
And another good one is Scholes right there next to him without the pads today. The official website of the University of Tulsa Athletics, www.tulsahurricane.com. Well, Tulsa, 3rd and about a foot here. Gooch looking for some room. It didn't look like he was going to make it there for a second, but he finds an opening, slides off the left tackle. They'll move the chains, and that stops the clock momentarily with 36 seconds remaining. Now, actually, it looks as though they will No, they're not going to measure. Cooper Castleberry says it looks good enough to me. First down.
Well, I don't think Tulsa's going to huddle. That's probably what they spent time over there doing. Say, hey, if you get the first down, line up on the ball and let's get after it right here and try to get the ball downfield with 36 seconds left.
Gooch has run for a touchdown of 49 yards, and in this quarter, he's thrown for a touchdown pass on 4th down. Down to 30 seconds remaining first half. Fakes the short. Dials long distance. Nice catch and a nice hit. Colton gets blasted by Kenny Smith, the cornerback out of Gulfport, Mississippi, but it's good for a first down. 21 seconds
I'll
left.
tell you what, Tyler saw him late. He scrambled back that way, and Monteith was smart enough to keep coming back, but he ran a comeback over there towards the sideline, and he was actually, the defender was 15 yards off when he first made his break, and by the time Tyler got over there and got him the ball, he was a little closer.
Catch at the 36-yard line with 9 seconds left. They'll stop the clock to move the chains again or to measure. Now they start the clock and Gooch will spike it.
Now, how did 2 seconds roll off between that whistle and when he threw that ball down?
It's the Michigan State clock operators here in Houston, for those that missed that.
Well, that was
caught that
strange
game
because
last week.
the umpire was standing there holding them to not snap the ball. So as soon as he blew the whistle, the ball snapped and he spiked, and somehow 2 seconds.
Well, when they ran when they reset the change, they started the clock again from 9, so that might have been it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. Tulsa would love to put some more points on the board, and if they do so, you would think if they get the ball to start the second half, which they would, they might be back in this thing, possibly. Colton gets out of bounds, but no time left at the 18-yard line. And Monteith Colton replacing Donald Scholes today with a 6th grab here in the first half. Let's see if they are indeed going to call the end of the first half.
I'll tell you what, he has been money here in the first half, but you see he does. He needs to, and he tries to at the last. You got to do the smart thing and get out of bounds there. You catch the ball. That's why you throw those passes out wide. Catch the ball and get out of bounds and leave yourself with one last play to the end zone.
So Cooper Castleberry heads for refreshments at halftime. We hope you'll stay with us. First half has completed here in Houston, and the Rice Owls, trying to win their 7th game of the year, lead 38-13 on Cox Communications.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Welcome back to Houston, Texas. 38-13, the Rice Owls leading the Golden Hurricane. Don King along with Brian Thompson. A good look at downtown Houston. A gorgeous day here today in South Texas near the Gulf. And we have a halftime guest, and it is the esteemed commissioner of the Western Athletic Conference, Carl Benson. Nice to see you, and welcome to Houston.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Anxious to see another football game here in the second half.
Let's hope so. Tyler Gooch trying to lead Tulsa back here in the second half. Let's talk a little bit about facilities, because I know that's important to the conference. Tulsa is certainly in the midst of building the Mike Case Tennis Center, and other universities have now stepped up in building facilities throughout the conference.
You know, there's projects going on every campus, Don, and you know, you look at what Tulsa's done with the basketball arena, now the tennis complex. And I know they've got great plans for the football stadium, and I think that the investment that that a Tulsa makes, an investment that all of our schools make, is just an added commitment and an added indication that the WAC schools are truly committed.
When you look at the conference standings in football, as Brian Thompson and I talked about, Boise State, Louisiana Tech at the top of the standings, along with Fresno and others. So it has made a very interesting football, certainly conference race.
Well, we have 5 teams that are still in the hunt for the championship. Louisiana Tech tonight can clinch at least a tie with a win at UTEP, and Boise State, Louisiana Tech, their first year in the WAC. I think people were expecting them to have an immediate impact. I don't know if they were expecting one of them to perhaps be the outright champion, but I think it's good for WAC football, and we certainly are glad to have Louisiana Tech and Boise State in the WAC.
And certainly basketball is right around the corner, and when you look at the two teams, a lot of coaches are talking about La Tech as maybe the surprise already in this league.
Well, and again, I think that both teams are expected to at least contend for the upper half of the league, and I'm really enthusiastic about WAC basketball this year. That with Fresno State and Tulsa and Hawaii and UTEP, and you can throw in an SMU and you can throw in Louisiana Tech and Boise State. I'll be disappointed if we don't have 7 or 8 teams that are playing postseason.
That would be nice. When you look at the latest TV deal, you're to be congratulated. I know that was certainly a concern to a lot of people with the Fox Sports Net package that you already had, and now the inclusion of ESPN as well. So you're to be congratulated. Explain that for those that might not know it.
Well, I appreciate that. We're really happy and proud to be back with ESPN as our major television partner. The WAC had been a long-time ESPN partner, and then had a 2 or 3 year hiatus, and we're back. And ESPN means so much to college sports, and I think we've seen it this fall from a football standpoint, not just on the games, but the promotional, the sports centers and all that. And I think we can expect the same type of exposure and the same type of opportunity once we get to basketball season.
And speaking of the basketball season, the WAC conference tournament comes back to Tulsa again.
Sure, it surely does. And we had such a successful year last year. The Tulsa fans and the Tulsa community and the Williams Company were just instrumental in making it a great success and a great event. And we're glad to be back in Tulsa next March.
Good to see you. Thank you, sir, and we'll see you in Tulsa soon.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks. Carl Benson, he is the WAC Conference Commissioner, Western Athletic Conference Commissioner. Good to have him here at halftime. We'll come back and take a look at this first half as we continue from Houston on Cox Communications.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Not all the planned changes in Rice are constructive. To illustrate this point, the mom would like to show you its impression of the planned demolition of the old White College.
Welcome back to Rice University in downtown Houston. Don King, Brian Thompson with you as Brian will finish his chili pie, his Frito pie, and look at some of the highlights here of first half. We had a little shrimp etouffee before the game. You always like it when you can come to Houston.
Decent food. They had the chicken and they had the shrimp gumbo. They had it all going on up there. I don't know what you're talking about me finishing food though.
I guess that was Link who's with you today.
I would only eat one time there. I wouldn't eat twice.
I apologize. Let's take a look at some of the numbers, some of the highlights, some of the action here in the first half. But before we do that, let's remind you that if you're a little hungry, like Brian and I were before the game, Pizza Hut is your answer. Let Pizza Hut cook dinner for you tonight. Visit your hometown Pizza Hut for dine-in or carry-out. Choose from your favorite crusts, topped with fresh toppings and cooked to perfection. Pizza Hut, a taste you can't get anywhere else.
Representing the class of 1996.
What do you think?
Well, if you look there we talked about big plays. I mean, they've got, Rice has 398 total yards, which is obviously quite a bit, 243 rushing, 155 passing. Tulsa started to close the gap, but what's the difference? The big plays. Also the turnover. The turnover was an easy 6 points for Rice. I mean, it was down inside Tulsa's 20. But Tulsa, even in the first quarter, they moved the ball a little bit, but they had to punt 2 or 3 times where Rice didn't have to punt until the last. So even, the gaps there within, 140 yards, which I know seems like a lot, but really it's not. But they've got to get some more stops defensively, and they've got to punch it in and have some big plays of their own on offense like Rice did in the first half.
You think of Rice is running the football, and they've done that with Jamie Tyler on this touchdown run.
And that play was right after the turnover. They just had to run 2 or 3 little off-tackle plays to get it in the end zone. And here you can see Tulsa, good play called the bootleg on 4th and short. Tyler's able to make something happen with his athletic ability and finds Jarrett Nixon in the back of the end zone. He gets the defender.
That closed it to 38-13, and that's where we are. It's a gorgeous day, mid-70s here in Houston, Texas. The Rice Owls are trying to win their 7th game of the year and really put themselves into a position at a possible bowl bid. Tulsa will certainly try to come out with some different things here in the second half. We'll talk about that in just a moment as we continue our halftime show from Houston and Rice Stadium. Tulsa next week will be back home. We'll tell you about that. But first, the TU volleyball team is holding down 4th place in the Eastern Division of the WAC. They're preparing for a game tonight at Louisiana Tech. TU volleyball fans know that the Hurricane is building for a more successful future with a Fab 4 freshman class, 2 of whom are right here from Houston. Let's take a look.
The future of University of Tulsa volleyball is bright. Bright because of the continuing progress under head coach Matt Sonicson, but bright because of 4 freshmen who have made immediate impact on the program.
Vanessa Thon, very small, athletic, but fiery setter, great ball control, very intelligent, mature beyond her years on the volleyball court. Dana Weddle, 6'1", exceptional athlete, great competitor, takes it personally, always gives 100%. Lindsay Eves is kind of a lower key player, somebody that you may not look at, but then you look at her stats and she's leading our team in kills per game and blocks per game. Has every shot in the world, hardly ever makes mistakes, always makes a better play in the ball. Kristen Bailey, phenomenal athlete, has our highest jump touch, touches 9-10, is going to get better and better and better. Has only been playing left side since her senior year in high school. She's only been playing it for 1 year, and now she's one of the better left side hitters in the league.
These freshmen were highly recruited, but even so, they didn't really expect to get this much floor time.
Well, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. I was kind of expecting to come in and maybe play a minor role, but when I got the news that Anna Netterman wasn't going to play anymore, I kind of felt like I was probably going to have to play a bigger role and kind of fill some really big shoes as soon as I got here.
I came in hoping to get playing time, but I knew since I was a freshman that I'd have to earn my position, and so that's what I did. So I worked hard and earned my position.
I was surprised that I got to play this much, but it's also like such a cool thing because I know girls that are playing at different schools and they're not getting to play like this, so I'm just taking, advantage of it while I can.
He had told me that I should come in knowing that I might have the position and stuff, so that's what I expected. And guess I was a little nervous to do that, but it's been good. Everyone's accepted me as like more as a leader and stuff, and it's weird to be a freshman and a leader. It's usually like the setter isn't, but it's been good and fun. So.
It's not easy for freshmen to step up a level and be competitive in Division I volleyball, and there certainly are some adjustments.
The first couple weeks we were here, I was not adjusted at all. It's like a much faster paced game and just hitting and stuff. We were so behind because I was like, you're late, but no, I think I've gotten used to it. I don't know.
I think the speed of it, it's a little bit faster than club or high school volleyball.
I think the college players have a lot more experience and they're a little bit smarter with their plays and stuff. That's the main difference that I can see, is kind of taking a play and making something with it instead of, just trying or making a mental mistake.
And the University of Tulsa team welcomed the young players into the Hurricane fold. There doesn't appear to be any jealousy from the veterans.
Yeah, and that's something I'm very proud of my seniors and upperclassmen about. So many times you'll have jealousy or a little bit of animosity because of some seniority or I've been here longer issues, but that hasn't been the case with our kids, and I'm very proud of them. I think that shows a lot of maturity by our upperclassmen.
How good can they be? Well, Coach says the sky's the limit.
Easily, each of them could easily become the 4 finest players in their positions, being healthy and developing, but it's a wonderful compliment to them that they're going to be that good.
Matt Sonicson, the head coach of the TU volleyball team. We're going to take a timeout, come back with the second half kickoff as both teams come onto the floor and warm up. Tulsa needs some touchdowns. They'll get the ball when we start the second half.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
You like it. They play soccer by day and fight crime by night. They are the baddest mamas on the planet. Bobby and Chastain. Brought to you by Bud Light, a proud sponsor of the U.S. Men's National Soccer Team. Real bad. We are BMC Software. Chances are, every day we benefit from the solutions we provide to our customers. We serve the industries that serve you. Our business solutions manage the most complex computer systems of the world's largest companies. Helping these businesses serve you better is what we do. We are BMC Software, assuring business availability. BMC Software is a proud sponsor of Rice University. The American way of life is energy in motion. Energy powers our lives and fuels the technologies that make America great. Williams is proud to help deliver that energy in more miles of pipelines than the interstate highway system, including a fifth of the nation's natural gas. At Williams, our way of life is leading energy solutions.
Rice got the opening kickoff and went ahead 7-0 on the opening drive of the game before Tyler Gooch tied it as he broke loose on a 49-yard run, the longest run for Tulsa this season, to make it 7-7. Rice got the ball back. Tulsa forced him to a field goal to make it 10-7. It was then 17-7 heading into the second quarter when all heck broke loose. Rice got a long touchdown pass, and then TU fumbled the ensuing kickoff, and before you knew it, it was 31-7 before Tulsa actually got on the board with a Tyler Gooch fourth down touchdown pass to Jarrett Nixon, a Houston native, to make it 38-13, and that's where we stand when we get ready to start here in the second half. These two teams are certainly well connected with the Williams companies, and they play for the Williams Cup. Tulsa came down here and won the Cup last year, 24-13. And today it looks as though the Rice Owls will get their hands on the trophy, unless Tulsa can get this second half kickoff. As you take a look at part of the Houston skyline, this is actually part of the other downtown area, if you will, near the Galleria and Rice University. As we take a look at the TU men's basketball schedule, don't forget the exhibition game tonight at the Reynolds Center at 7 o'clock against the worldwide foreign team, if I can get it. WWF is what I was thinking of. Brian's got me hooked on the WWF connotation. Grambling comes your way here on Cox Communications. That'll be our first telecast on Monday, November 19th, for John Phillips making his debut as the head coach. And then you see some other great games down the list. Arkansas, ORU. That's at the Mabee Center, by the way. Southwest Missouri, as Barry Hinson comes in December 4th. How about that one at Wichita State? A great rivalry between the two schools. And then Texas A&M coming your way Friday, December 14th. That game will actually be broadcast in Houston, or actually be in Houston, here in Houston, and the December 20th, 21st, 22nd, the tournament in Hawaii before Tulsa returns home. And look who they have to start the conference season. Fresno State, December 29th. So a very challenging early schedule for John Phillips in November and December. Speaking of challenges, that gentleman who grew up in the Dallas area, coached here at Houston for a while under Rice University, has had quite a challenge this season, considering a team that won their last 3 games last season to go 5-7. Optimism was high, but things have certainly hurt this team with a 7-game losing streak. They're trying to snap that this afternoon. Otherwise, it will be an 8-game losing streak, which would be the second longest in Tulsa history. Ken Hatfield trying to keep his troops focused here for the second half.
Well, you mentioned earlier that Ken Hatfield didn't have much success last year. They only had 3 wins where Rice was up and then down, and then now they're obviously back up. But you know, remember the same thing. Tulsa last year ended on a flurry.
That's right.
With 2 big wins and ended up 5-7, and you know, they're down now. But the same thing, you can turn it around in a year, and a lot of it has to do with, one, I pointed out injuries. Depending on how lucky you are on injuries and key people getting hurt. 2, just confidence. If you get a big win early, you can roll with that and get that thing going. And Tulsa just hadn't been able to do that. But that doesn't mean that they don't have talent right now, that talent can't transpire into a successful season next year.
You look at this lineup, again, the 2 deep roster, offense and defense for Tulsa is just dotted with freshmen and sophomores. This will be step-toe at the goal line. He's going to run it out to the 10. Sherman 15, nice move to the 20. Finds a lane to the 30-yard line. Up to the 34 goes Sherman step-toe. And a nice job by the sophomore before he is brought down by the Rice Owls. Number 18, Ed Bailey, a freshman out of Klein High School here in the nearby Houston area.
Well, we'll see what Tulsa does here on offense. Tyler Gooch had one of his better days. Passing is 14-20 for 141 yards, no interceptions. He's also their leading rusher. Of course, he had the 1 long touchdown run, but we'll see what Tulsa tries to establish here early.
Good numbers for Gooch, 14 of 19 in the first half. And Tulsa with their best field position of the game. Down and out, Colton, who had a nice first half. Monteese Colton, the redshirt freshman from Duncanville, Texas, 6 catches, 82 yards in the first half.
Well, that was a route exactly that when we met with Coach Gilstrap this week, he said that they liked because they played, they would back up and they'd try to keep everything in front. I mean, the Rice cornerbacks, when I say that they would try to push them deep and run 18, 20-yard routes, and Monteese Colton does that. He makes the guy think he's going deep and runs a 20-yard comeback, but he's not able to hang on to the football.
Anthony Taylor, the center, back with the snap, and Gooch sets up the screen, and Barnett is whipped. Nice play by the linebacker out of Daingerfield, Texas, eastern part of the state, Joe Bob Thompson.
Well, that time they sniff it out. He does a good job, and where last time Eric Richardson was able to get away that time. Joe Bob didn't. He didn't go for the play that time. He saw the screen coming and went straight to DJ Barnett, and there was nothing he could do once he caught the football.
Joe Bob had 17 tackles in the game against Navy. One of their early wins this season. 3rd down and 13 after the loss of 3. Gooch looking for the big play. They show blitz. Here they come. Tyler hangs in, fires complete. Well short of the first down marker. But a nice grab by Wimberly, the sophomore out of Union, and that's good for about 10 yards.
Well, Tyler does a good job. You can see right here, he gets an outside, a blitz from the outside that no one can account for, so he makes the right read. He knows there's no one to take away the flats to that side because he's coming. And he slings it out there, and hits a slant, and just not enough yards for the first down.
Only the 4th punt of the game, and Lipscomb with his 3rd, and he booms a beauty. Down to the 10-yard line goes Hatfield. Somehow he gets out of that and up near the 20-yard line. Cliff Hatfield is one of the better return players in the conference. And Rice will take over with their first possession here of the second half. 50-yard punt for Lipscomb.
Yeah, it's not a lot of hang time, but boy, he hits a beauty, a nice spiral that pushes Hatfield back, and Tulsa does a good job on their punt coverage. I tell you what, for some reason their punt coverage just seems a lot more sound than their kickoff coverage, and I don't know why, because the same thing, you kind of go down in lanes, but they look good on their punt coverage. They haven't allowed Hatfield to get out for much extra yardage at all after he's caught the football.
They're going to bring this one back. Cooper Castleberry.
Do they not call that a clip anymore, Don?
No.
An illegal
block to the back, especially on returns.
But you always hear fans and coaches still say that was a clip. That was a clip.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 20. And they will put Kyle Herm, H-E-R-M, back in at quarterback. What a game he had against Louisiana Tech. Again, that team was down 31-0 and came back to tie it and send it into overtime a couple of weeks ago in Ruston before they fell to the Bulldogs, and that has really propelled Louisiana Tech to the top of the heap here in the conference.
Again, boy, on that play right there, Sam Rayburn again getting off a block and getting his arm out, getting his upfield arm free, and slowing the ball carrier down. He's having a great ball game.
Coach McInerney was certainly preaching to the defense this week about scraping your defender. Look at that pitch, look at the catch, and look at the speed. My goodness. Vincent Hodkins has shown the speed today. He's out of Spring, Texas, a suburb of Houston.
Okay, here we go again. The same thing we said earlier, the safety's got to come up on pitch support, and he takes a bad angle. He looks like he's going to go to the quarterback again, and then he's too late getting out there on the pitch. They've got to play their assignments and go to their responsibility on the option.
First down from the 30. You can really see the lack of experience this year compared to last on the option game. Look at McCory sneak in for the sack on Herm. Nice job by Keithan McCory. Nice to see him back in the lineup.
They're going to run this little option down. They release the tight end down the middle again. And Keithan McCory, good call by Coach McInerney. He calls it into the play. Keithan McCory, who they've missed, who really helps him as a leader on defense, comes in and make the sack because he had Thibodeau turned around. Thibodeau didn't bite up like he did earlier in the game, but he had him covered. But he still might have had a chance to make a play if he was able to throw that football.
McCory missed 3 games with an ankle sprain earlier. This pass incomplete, looking for Derek Gray, one of the halfbacks. So that'll make it 3rd and 16. What's the difference? Steptoe this year has played both rover and cornerback. What's the difference?
Well, their rover and bandit are more they're safety type positions, outside linebackers. They have a lot more run responsibility. Their cornerbacks, you're out there, you're a cover guy. You can see they're walked up close on the wide receivers and their cover guys. You can see the rovers, bandits like Keithan, those guys got to play pass and a lot of run responsibility as well.
Throwing deep for Booth. This one is picked off. Been looking for the turnover, and they get it. Jeff Thibodeau with his first interception at the University of Tulsa, the freshman out of Orange, Texas.
Great play by Thibodeau, but a good play by Tulsa defensively in the back end. They run, this is one of their favorite routes, they run a curl and go. They try to, Booth runs a little curl and then tries to burst upfield after that, a curl and go, and Thibodeau makes the play from the safety position, sees it, and is able to make up a lot of ground and pick that ball up. That was good all around by the Tulsa secondary.
And now you really have helped the offense at the 37-yard line, and now it's the offensive turn now to respond thanks to the turnover. So Gooch brings him out to a double slot, and quarterback draw. Might have been by design. He gets hit from behind. Fortunate to hang on to the football as 42 nails him. That's Justin Engler, who's put on a couple of big hits today.
You're exactly right. You can see right here, he sees nothing open, so Tyler just decides to take it on his own up the middle, and Brandon Green, I believe it is, hammers him from the back, and you're right, Don, a lot of time.
Tyler Gooch up to near midfield.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is a good time for Tulsa, even though they're spreading the field out, a good time for Tulsa to run the football, and why Tyler's finding so many holes is they're walking, Tulsa has 4 wide receivers, and they're walking linebackers and ends out over the inside wide receivers, plus they're putting defensive backs behind them, so they're basically doubling up on the inside receivers, and that leaves them a little weak inside, and Tyler's just, nobody's open, they're going to cover, so Tyler's going to take what he has and take off and run the football. They don't have enough inside to cover the running game.
This is a formation now that they've gone back to after showing it the first part of the game, and it worked well. McKenzie for a couple of yards, even though he is into Rice territory. Jim Gilstrap, the offensive coordinator, said we'd see a lot more of this freshman from Chickasha today.
Yep, and he's got a lot of ability, a lot of speed. It's almost like another Eric, and Eric Richardson part 2. I mean, kind of the same build. He's got a lot of speed and explosive, and I think the more carries he gets, it's kind of like Eric last year. They kind of start giving him the ball. They're like, hey, he's doing better and better, and they're just going to keep giving him the ball because he keeps getting better.
Donald Scholes is out of the game, has not participated due to a twisted ankle, so they've been going to Colton, and he goes up inside the 20-yard line. However, he was defended well by number 20, Dindy. Colton today has caught 6 balls.
Well, Dindy's with him stride for stride. It looked like Monty slowed up a little bit. I thought maybe he was going to run that comeback route again, but Tyler throws the ball to him, and he accelerates at the end. But one of the things he's got to do is he's so close to the sideline that you've got to really drop. I mean, it makes Tyler pinpoint that pass, and what he needs to do is squeeze that defender down inside a little bit and give Tyler a little more room to throw the ball outside.
So now it's 3rd down and 8 from the Rice 49-yard line. Tulsa at midfield, trailing 38-13. A touchdown here would certainly breathe some life into this team. That one overthrown and yet almost caught off the deck by Wimberly at the 25.
Well, Tulsa runs a flood route with Roundtree, Wimberly, and Colton. They run a little flat route. Colton runs a 10-yard out. Wimberly runs a corner route over the top. You can see there's Darrell standing back there. That pass wasn't intended for him, but obviously Tyler has found his you can see that the target he likes. He's gone to Monteith all 3 times this half, and he's trying to get him the football.
So Lipscomb, who had a 50-yard punt in this 3rd quarter, is back yet again. Hatfield at the 15. How did he get out of that? A flag goes down, and Hatfield's down at the 18. So, or is he? Now he's down. Goodness sakes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were calling those dead or Hatfield just kept going, but there's you'll see right here it's going to be a halo violation. There's a 2-yard. He's within the 2 yards right there. Jermaine Hope is, and that's going to be the penalty.
41-yard kick. So the Rice Owls will get the ball back when we come back from Houston, Texas. 9:54 to go, 3rd quarter, still plenty of time for a TU comeback.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Welcome back to Houston. Some of the fans enjoying the beautiful weather here on an autumn afternoon. And they're enjoying this run. Are you kidding me? To the 20, to the 10, touchdown, Rice. On the long run by Clint Hatfield of 75 yards. And Tulsa is bit by the big play again.
Well, and you can see Herm's back in here at quarterback. And he does the same thing he does on the punt return. He just bounces it, he doesn't go down, and then just finds an opening. I think everyone assumes that he's going to stop and he's down, and he just bounces it and then takes off to the house and gets in the end zone.
75-yard run. Ouch. Tulsa, before that play, had been giving up about 10 yards of play in the game. And that's can't do anything but certainly increase that number.
Well, that puts their total. Their Rice has 332 yards rushing.
Here's the extra point kick by Crabtree. 9:40 to go, third quarter. And the long touchdown run by Hatfield makes it 45-13. And you look back to that interception that Tulsa got just a moment ago. Certainly the defense has taken a lot of criticism, giving up now around 1,700 yards in total offense the last 3 games. But you have to go back to the offense. Here's a chance you're down 38-13. You get an interception, and the offense can't put anything on the board because of it. You're still down 38-13, and then all of a sudden you give up the 75-yard run, and bang, you're just further in the hole.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot to be said for being out. I mean, you're out on that field an awful long time when the team's running the option at you and pounding you. That takes its toll on you. And we said that in the first half. Tulsa's offense is going to have to move the ball, which they did the first drive. That last drive they didn't, but they started out in a situation they threw on first down downfield, missed it, and now they were forced to throw the next couple of downs, and they ended up not completing them, going 3 and out. The defense is right back out there on the field.
Tulsa has not had a winning season since '91. That's well documented. Keith Burns claims he will turn that around. He was at Rice here in 1992 when the Rice Owls under Fred Goldsmith went 6-5, and it was the first winning season here at Rice in 29 years. So
Yeah.
you think you've got problems trying to beat a string that's now gone 10 years. How about Rice that had to go 29 years in a 70,000 seat stadium?
Well, there's you look back just to 88 and 89. Right before that, Rice had like 18 and 19 game losing streaks.
Yeah.
So that 6-5 was a very significant turnaround for them, and it's kind of built since then. I mean, they've had a couple off seasons down there, but they've been competitive.
Even in the Southwestern
the
Conference.
last 6 or 7 years, they've been pretty solid.
Up to the 25-yard line for Steptoe. So Tulsa's 75 yards out. Let's see if we can get a 75-yard run of our own. 9:29 to go in the third quarter. 29 years without a winning season, and Keith Burns was part of that, along with Jeff McInerney, who's the defensive coordinator at Tulsa. In fact, Burns worked for Ken Hatfield as a graduate assistant at the University of Arkansas in 1984. Coach Hatfield was the head coach in Fayetteville. New quarterback into the game, Josh Blankenship, and Josh gets up near the 25-yard line, which is the line of scrimmage. Interesting that we would see the product, the junior from Union.
Yeah, it is surprising.
Instead of Killian, because he had moved ahead of Josh last week.
Yeah, James came in last week against OU, but Josh's in there now. Maybe they feel like they've got to stand back there and throw the ball downfield more.
Two receivers to the left. Blankenship has one to the right. Blitz is on. He picks it up and yet fires it incomplete. Looking for the receiver there, Brandon Burks, to make it third down. Josh is only 5 yards away from joining an elite group of TU quarterbacks. There are a look at his numbers this season.
Yeah, 104 out of 173, 1,000 yards. over almost to 5,000 yards passing for his career. So had an excellent career, and TU this year has just decided that they wanted to play Gooch in a different scheme, a scheme where they could move the quarterback around and run more draws and things like that.
Ball at the 24-yard line, 3rd down, a little more than 10. Got his man there, and he stepped out. Landrum did, but it's good for a 1st down up at the 38-yard line. That's good for 14, and that's the first catch of the day for the freshman from Veneta, Jermaine Landrum. They wanted to get the ball in his hands today.
Good job by the offensive line. Good job by Josh avoiding a little pressure right there. He's able to get it out on the run. Jermaine's just in bounds there and smart enough to stay in front of the sticks so they can get enough yards for the 1st down.
Actually, he did catch a 2-yard pass in the first half that I'd forgotten about, as Coach Hatfield is talking it over with the officials.
Well, I think he's arguing that Jermaine went out of bounds and maybe came back in, or his foot was out of bounds when he caught it. But I don't think when Tulsa's down 45-13 that he's going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Tulsa has completed passes to 9 different receivers today. None of them to Donald Scholes, who's out today. First down, Tulsa. And Josh Blankenship coming in 4th on the all-time TU passing list, 4,966 yards after that last pass completion. 49-66. First down from the 38-yard line. He's got time here. Fires for Roach, who makes a great catch, and the sophomore from Watonga down to the Rice 35-yard line and beyond.
Wow, what a throw by Josh. You can see Roach likes that. Little play action out of Ace, and he just drills that ball. You could see the seam he had to throw that in there. I mean,
wasn't much.
Boy, he drilled that, but I'll tell you what, credit DJ Barnett on that play. Rice is continually now bringing guys off the edge. In other words, bringing more guys than Tulsa has up front to block, and the running back's got to pick it up. And DJ Barnett picked his man up, the outside blitz, and enabled Josh to get that ball downfield. And boy, what a nice ball it was.
So Josh closing in on the 5,000-yard mark. 8 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Tulsa down by 32. And that one's batted at the line of scrimmage. Tulsa next week. Back in action, obviously, against SMU at Skelly Stadium. In fact, Tulsa will close out the season with their last 2 games at home against SMU. Now, that is a 1:30 start, by the way, next Saturday afternoon, because the game will be on Fox Sports Net. And then 2 weeks from today, we'll close out the football campaign against Louisiana Tech at 2 o'clock. We'll have same-day coverage for you that day. After the incomplete pass, 2nd down. Incomplete for Colton. Interesting, Brian, Colton and Gooch, you could tell they really had developed a little bit of chemistry today. And now that Blankenship comes in, how much different is it for Colton?
I mean, it's not. It's just for him, it's basically you just get open, and it's what the quarterback sees as far as the secondary and this and that. With Donald out, I doubt there's any favorites out there. Tyler got it going with Monteith in the first half, but the last couple of drives he's missed him 3 or 4 times in a row. So I don't think it's that much different.
3rd down play here from the Rice 34-yard line. Here they come. Josh gets it, and the catch was made, but he was out of bounds. And so they'll rule that one incomplete. Colton had it, but the redshirt freshman is going to be ruled out of bounds.
This one's close. Boy, I'd like to see this one again. He's just got to have 1 foot in. Boy, I don't know about that one. That was pretty dang close. But irregardless, it's 4th down. A good route. Again, the comeback route. They're pushing guys deep and come back to the sideline. Josh puts it in the right place, just a little bit too close to the boundary.
Josh Blankenship in at quarterback for the first time today in this series. He's moved them from the 25 down to the Rice 34-yard line. And on 4th down, he fires. And that one will be well incomplete as the receiver went the wrong way, it would appear to me, at the 15. So Rice will take over. Change the position. We'll come back with the Rice Owls midway through the third quarter on Cox Communications.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Quarterback Greg Henderson into the game, and on the option he'll pick up close to 8 or 9 yards. Michael Delaney, number 10, in on the stop, along with number 12 C.J. Scott, and 47, a sophomore from Cassia Hall. That's Max Kraus.
Well, I'm wondering why the last series when Hatfield scored, Herm came in for the one play.
That was it.
Yeah, they've been pretty lucky when he's in there. I don't know that I wouldn't keep him in and just let him hand it off. He's been pretty solid when he's in there, whether he's running the ball or not.
Well, this Henderson kid has put up some pretty good numbers himself this year. Robbie Beck dives over the 45 for the first down. Rice opened their season with close wins against Houston. Obviously, their crosstown rival here, 21-14, beat Duke 15-13. Then went on the road, got thumped at Nebraska 48-3, went to Hawaii and beat the Warriors 27-24. And you know how well Hawaii has played since then. They beat Boise State 45-14, and Boise State's hunting for the WAC championship. They beat Navy 21-13, beat Nevada in overtime, then lost at La Tech 41-38. And then last week got beat at Fresno State. So they're trying to snap a 2-game losing streak after their 4-game winning streak.
Well, they had a chance against, you mentioned they were down 31-0 against La Tech and came back and tied that thing and lost in overtime. But you know, what Hatfield does is, boy, he recruits kids to this offense.
He sure does.
And he sticks to it. I mean, he's convicted to this thing, and he's got kids that can block and up front and just, boy, they execute.
Henderson has to go back to get that snap. And an interesting play here by the freshman quarterback, not to try to do something special by picking it up. He knew just the fall on it. Why not when you're up 45-13?
Well, yeah, and that's the smart play. Some players, whether they're up 45-13 or they're up, 17-14, they'll try to pick it up and run with it. He does do the smart thing there. Control the damage.
Yeah.
Follow the ball. Don't bat it around where
TU
Tulsa
could grab it and score. Darn kid, he's too smart. Henderson on the run here. Needs a block, gets it to the 50. Nice cut to the 45 and gets belted down by Brandon Lord. You got to give the Jinx freshman some credit. He came all the way downfield and put a pretty good lick on the freshman quarterback out of Wichita Falls.
Great hustle. The problem on this play is by the time he scrambles around, the receivers are so deep that there's a huge gap between the front 6 or 7 of TU and the back 4. So once he gets into that void, it's just straight speed eating up the green there. And Tulsa's defenders are trying to close from both sides, and he's able to pick up the first down before they get there.
Rice will close their season the next 2 weeks at home here against UTEP. And then in 2 weeks, they'll be in Dallas at SMU. What happened to UTEP? Well, they looked pretty good when Tulsa played.
They did, and it's because Phillips had a career game. And I remember when doing that game, I was shocked at how well, from looking at his numbers in the previous games, and just based on the number of games he had started, that he was playing that well, because he looked like a winning quarterback that had played for 2 or 3 years, and that wasn't the case. And sure enough, the next few weeks he showed his true colors. He just happened to. He was hot against Tulsa, had a great game against Tulsa, and that was one of the reasons that they played so well.
Tulsa giving up 357 rushing today, and it's going to be more as Beck tries to wrestle McCory even further, and Keithan finally brings him down to the 19-yard line. That's a gain of 21, and another Rice first down.
Well, Rice has got they got so many weapons here at running back. You've seen Beck run the ball well. Hawkins, you've seen Hermit quarterback, Richardson quarterback. They've got so many guys back there that can cut and run the football. Boy, they can just rotate them in and out there.
Well, you look at the Rice numbers rushing the football under Ken Hatfield, and it has been very, very impressive. One of the better running teams in the country. Henderson keeps again and picks up a yard. Delaney again. Michael Delaney, as Keith Burns pointed out, on number 10 for Tulsa. He is a bowling ball with butcher blades. He has been fun to watch this year. A kid that was out of football for 2 years, played at OU as a freshman, then was hurt, and then transferred to Tulsa, sat out last year, the transfer year, and he's been fun to watch this year. How intense is he? Second down, look out, touchdown. Vincent Hawkins, he's been all over the field today for the Rice Owls, but yet that's only his first touchdown of the game as he goes over 100 yards today.
Well, Tulsa either got caught in the wrong call right here, or someone missed an assignment, because he could have run another 50 yards and don't want to touch him. You can see they bring pressure from this side. They cut Delaney down. But he runs opposite of the pressure they're bringing, and there's nobody there for Tulsa. He runs in untouched.
Extra point with 3:13 to go. Third quarter, and it is good. Well, Tulsa has given up now 173 points in the last 3 games. Can the offense do something? We'll come back in a moment.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
You look at the time of possession in this game, and it is dead even, but the yardage obviously is not, and the score is 52-13 Rice, trying to capture their 7th win of the year. 3:13 to go, third quarter. No, the fans have not left because of the score. This is how many were here when we started. A stadium that was built back, what, in the 40s? Wow, this is a big place.
That was wrong.
Taken at the 21-yard line and a fair catch called for.
It is, though. It's almost, that's what.
Well, they never fill it up unless Texas is playing here.
I don't even, do they fill it up then? I mean, this place is huge.
Yeah, they'll fill it up when the Longhorns are here.
I mean, it just seems almost overwhelming for a university of this size.
Now, look at that guy. Now, why wouldn't you want, if you're Rice, why wouldn't you say, okay, folks, look, I know you all want some room, but why don't you all come down here in the lower level near the 50-yard line and cram in here and get a little atmosphere to it? You know, everybody's got their own section.
Well, maybe that's it. Everybody wants their own section,
I guess. Well, is Blankenship back in at quarterback? Nope, Gooch is back in, and the handoff good for 3 yards.
But I'll tell you what's odd to me, and you see McKenzie right here, not much he's able to go ahead for 2 or 3. Is what's odd is they have this big stadium, and I talked to you earlier, Don. My buddy, one of my best friends, Kenneth Rourke, played basketball down here, and I came to visit him a couple of times, and he took me to the basketball gym, and it's like a high school gym. I mean, everyone's real close. It's a small gym as compared to a massive stadium, and it's just you know the basketball arena certainly doesn't match the stadium.
Well, Rice was very good. I mean, they were playing on New Year's Day in the 40s, late 40s, and that's how they got this stadium. As Tyler Gooch scoots all the way up to the 43-yard line. That's a gain of 20, and a Rice first down, or a Tulsa first down, as the Rice player's down.
Well, they go out of the shotgun again. They're trying to they're spreading Rice out, and Rice is trying to bring pressure from the outside, and Gooch is just turning up the middle. You see Jared Roach there doing a nice job turning to get a block upfield, but Tyler is going to go over 100 yards rushing, and he's just taking what they're giving him.
He had 100 yards rushing in the San Jose State game. I mean, he was the first quarterback to do that since Steve Gage did it back in 1986. Today he's at 83 yards. And passing the football, he had a very good first half, 14 of 19. And still pretty good numbers, 16 of 24, 147 yards and a touchdown. So today, Tyler accounting for 230 yards of total offense.
Yeah, well, Tulsa's there you can see he's got 6 attempts rushing for 83 yards and a touchdown, but Tulsa's got over 300 yards of offense. In the first, for Rice offensively, the first quarter, it was their passing that actually was enabling them to move the ball down the field at a steady rate. But since that time, they've went all rush since then, and now almost have 400 yards rushing.
Good look here at Houston as it closes in on the 5 o'clock hour in Houston and Tulsa. And if you're thinking about dinner tonight, why not let Pizza Hut cook dinner for you? Visit your hometown Pizza Hut for dine-in or carry-out. Several to choose from in the Tulsa or Oklahoma City area. Choose from your favorite crust topped with fresh toppings and cooked to perfection. Pizza Hut, a taste you cannot get anywhere else. Don King, Brian Thompson, our producer Randy Carson, and her crew giving you the pictures. Keith Burns trying to put points on the board. It was 7-0 Rice. Tulsa came right back to tie it on a Tyler Gooch 49-yard run to tie it at 7. Rice came right back down the field to kick a field goal, make it 10-7. They then made it 17-7. We went into the second quarter, and Coach Burns was thinking, hey, we get a score here. We go into halftime. We're in pretty good shape going into the second quarter. But Rice scored on a long play of a touchdown pass by Kyle Herm to make it 24-7, and then Tulsa fumbled on the ensuing kickoff, and Rice scored 3 plays later, and the dam broke. Then it was 31-7. It was 38-13 at halftime. Gooch in a bit of a jam. Fires. Incomplete, looking for Landerman. A flag goes down, and holding probably against Tulsa with 2:10 left in the third. Let's take a look and see if we can pick up the penalty.
Yep, it's right there. You see he gets on. That'll get called every time when an offensive lineman gets his hands outside of the inside frame of the defensive lineman. They're going to call it every time. If they get their hands up inside, they can get away with some holding. If they keep their hands up on the inside framework of that defensive lineman there, you can see he reached his arm around the top of the shoulder pad. They're going to call that every time. But Tyler, I'll tell you what, that was everybody was covered. There was 4 guys out on routes for Tulsa, and they were all blanketed. There was really nothing for Tyler to do. He almost.
10 yards from the previous spot. Replay first down.
He almost still stuck it in there to land her, but still good coverage by Rice on that play.
That'll move it back to the 33-yard line. This is a stadium, again, built, I think, of the late 40s, early 50s. And again, because of Rice's success in the late 40s when they went to a couple of New Year's Day bowl games, they had the foresight to build this stadium, and yet they've really never been able to put 70,000 in here. But the Oilers were here, and it certainly drew well. And look at Gooch. Look at him wiggle his way up to the 45-yard line. That's a gain of a dozen. And a nice play by the Union quarterback, who now is very close to the 100-yard mark.
Yeah, you can see, boy, it looks like it's a little face mask there, and you can see Tyler reach up to adjust his face mask, but just in and out there, and he's able to get back past the original line of scrimmage. So a very nice pickup, and now it gives him a chance to pick up a first down.
A Super Bowl was held here, one of the early Super Bowls here at Rice Stadium in Houston. And instead of the new Houston Texans taking over this 70,000 seat stadium, they're building their own new stadium just a couple of miles to the right of this stadium, to the south. Wimberley couldn't hang on. Third down coming up.
I'll tell you what, I've been in almost every game this year real impressed with Tulsa's offensive line. Those they do a good job. You don't see in a lot of games when a score like this, you would think that the quarterback's just getting teed off on, and it's not happening. I mean, granted, Tyler and Josh, when Josh then made a couple of guys miss, but the offensive line is for the most part, giving them a lot of time, giving them ample time to throw the football, and a lot of the things that are happening is just good coverage downfield.
Gooch loads the shotgun. Going to run. He's going to be forced to run, and he gets the first down as he gets past Justin Engler, number 42. Nice run. Gooch shows his speed. They'll move the chains.
Again, good coverage downfield. Good job by the O-line. They wall everybody out, fan everybody out, and Tyler just steps up.
And that'll put him over the 100-yard mark, or pretty close to it, should. Tyler today's, again, 147 yards passing. And there you see, good for their 18th first down on that run. And into Owl territory at the Rice 44. Tulsa put some points on the board a couple of weeks ago against San Jose. They're trying to do the same here. This one batted down incomplete. Nice coverage there by Jason Hebert, the senior free safety out of Spring. He's a preseason all-conference performer.
Well, Tyler makes a good read here. They bring the man covering Roundtree, so he just turns and sees it and throws the ball out there quick, but then the safety comes up, and Hebert makes a good play. He gets there right as the ball gets there, and doesn't allow Roundtree to catch that football.
There are Tyler's numbers running the ball. 1 touchdown run, 1 touchdown pass today. Over 250 yards of total offense for the Union freshman. He dives out of bounds at the 37-yard line. That will set up 3rd and short. DJ Barnett and Kevin McKenzie have split most of the time at running back, but this is the guy that leads them in rushing today.
They might think about putting Josh in there and pitching the ball to Gooch.
You never know.
I mean, he's basically running the ball every down now. Of course, he's doing a very nice job. He's getting them out of jams, but like I said, Rice is playing a secondary. They're doubling up both the inside receivers, and they're playing tight on the outside receivers, and it's going to be hard. You would think if you had Donald Scholes out there, you'd probably see him a lot more times just throwing deep if they're going to walk up on you like that. Hey, let's throw over the top. But with inexperienced receivers, they're probably a little less apt to do that.
And a nice job here, Barnett. They took the fake to Barnett, and Gooch Inside the 25 to the 24, they'll move the chains again, and a nice job by Wimberly downfield blocking. So Tulsa moves the sticks. 48 seconds to go, third quarter.
Again, this is a play right out of Rice's playbook. Rice ran this early in the game. They get everyone going to the left, and the quarterback just goes on his own, a keeper to the right, and they just take a page right out of Rice's playbook right there and get a nice game.
The Owls trying to pick up yet another conference win. That would move them to 4-2 in the league. Fresno trying to beat SMU today to go 4-2. Boise State is 4-2. They're playing out of Hawaii late tonight. Here's McKenzie, the freshman out of Chickasha, running to the sideline and out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Tulsa's knocking on the door, facing second down and short with 21 seconds to go in the third.
Little toss sweep. They pull the guard. He falls down, but Kevin shows his speed here. He's able to find the edge and pick up 6 or 7 yards. When you have raw speed like that, and you run a toss sweep, guys a lot of times can outrun pursuit, and they'll just run till they run out of room over there, and that's what Kevin did.
2nd and 1. I say throw it in the end zone. Who are you going to throw it to? I say Jared Roach. I'll call the play. Power coverage on the left side, a double wing, if you will, kind of an interesting formation. They've run that throughout the day, and they are going to throw on 2nd and 1, and they looked for Jared and incomplete.
How's that make you feel?
Makes you feel pretty good.
It's good, Don.
Except they didn't complete it. Now it's 3rd and 1.
Good call right here. You run the ball, not come back, a little play action.
That's right.
He tries to hit Jared Roach, but Tyler, I'll tell you what Tyler did right there. So he tried to set up too quick and was kind of back on his heels, and he probably wasn't able to deliver that ball where he wanted to.
There's the score. 16 seconds left. Need a yard, got that and more. To the 10, to the 5. McKenzie rolls to the 3-yard line. And another nice downfield block by the wide receivers, Jermaine Lander.
Good job, little zone play right here. You can see he just takes off. Good speed, good job up front by the offensive line. Jermaine Lander's trying to get a block downfield, extra effort, and he gets close to getting the end zone.
1st and goal from the 3-yard line. And I think Tulsa has called a timeout. So we'll take a break. Actually, that's the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll start the 4th quarter. Tulsa knocking on the door. 52-13 Rice.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Gorgeous day here in Houston. I'm sure it's much like it is in Tulsa. Mid-70s, low 70s at kickoff. While we have a moment, certainly want to thank the hard work. The 2 ladies don't get enough credit in the TU football program. Gwen Charles and Carolyn Foster, the secretaries. And want to say hello to them as we start the 4th quarter. And hello to you. Hope you're enjoying the action. Tulsa's knocking on the door inside the 5. McKenzie pounding it to the goal line. He got in. Touchdown, Tulsa. That's the first touchdown for the Chickasha freshman, Kevin McKenzie. On the first play of the 4th quarter. So Tulsa will go for 2 here because of the missed extra point last time out, and the swinging gate comes out. And Gooch fakes the option and then throws it up for grabs, incomplete. I've never seen that one before. He threw it with the left hand and just kind of threw it up in the air. And the pass intercepted, but it'll just go down as a 2-point conversion failing, no interception on the stats. Now Keith is looking at him. That was rather bizarre in the swinging gate. You ever seen the swinging gate work every once in a while? I guess it does.
You bet. That's what Tulsa calls their money play. They ran that last year. Coach Burns,
That's
I remember
true,
he drew that up on the, they scored on it one time. I
Right.
mean, a big play. And I remember he drew that up on the board for everybody on his TV show. And he actually had someone wide open in the back of the end zone. I couldn't see who it was, but he didn't have time. I mean, by then he was already wrapped up, didn't have time to throw the ball.
So it's 52-19 now to start basically the 4th quarter. With just 6 seconds gone after McKenzie scooted in from 3 yards out. His first career touchdown to TU, and there's the drive. Nice drive for Tulsa.
Nice drive for Tyler Gooch there. He kind of started it, and then McKenzie finished it.
And it's interesting that in the previous series we saw Blankenship come in. They did this in Norman last week, Brian, with Killian and Gooch. Explain a little bit the reason that they might have taken Gooch out for one series.
Well, a lot of times they'll do that to let one, it gives the defense a little bit different look and to see if someone may be hot, but a lot of the times mainly it's a different perspective for the quarterback to come over and watch it from the sideline. I mean, a lot of times they'll come out, you'll see a quarterback come out for 1 or 2 series, and then he'll come back in and he'll play better. I mean, you'll see, because you can go over there and watch what's happening, because it's hard for a coach to sit over there and explain to you what's going on in the headset, because the quarterback can't see everything. And you're trying to say, hey, they're lining up in this, they're doing that on defense, they're shifting this way. Well, hey, sit out a series and watch it over here. See what's happening, then you have a better feel for it when you go back in, and sometimes that's why they do that.
Be sure to watch Inside Tulsa Basketball. It comes your way Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock. You'll get acquainted with TU's new head coach, John Phillips, and see Bruce Howard welcome back the NIT champions. Then in the second half hour, Kathy McConnell-Miller will join Bruce for a preview of TU's improving women's team. 1 hour of Inside Tulsa Basketball, Wednesday nights on Cox Communications.
There you see Tyler. He's got to be pretty worn out after that last drive.
A kid that some thought might have a future in baseball. And there was a question at one time whether he would go baseball or football.
Well, I think he had some opportunities, but I think he wanted to play football. He decided he wanted to go play football, and that's what he did.
New quarterback in, the 3rd one of the day for the Owls. It's Joe Moore, a freshman out of Fort Worth. And the handoff here, and Delaney has been in on a boatload of tackles today. This is Hatfield on the run, and there is Delaney, number 10. He missed the first game of the year with an injury, but boy, since then he has been solid.
And I say this every time, he looks almost like a men among boys down there. He is a big guy down there, and he will sell out. He will sell out his body. He'll run through there with no regard for his body and just go and try to make plays.
Their gain of 5, they look for 5 more, and Hatfield is he's just too much to handle today. It is hard to get a handle on him, and he gets the first down up at the 46-yard line.
Well, there's different kinds of running backs. You see there's straight speed guys, there's power guys, there's guys that are shifty, and he's a guy that can shift and make a lot of cuts. He'll sit in the hole and just kind of move laterally, and all of a sudden he's out the gate.
23 first downs now for Rice compared to 20 for Tulsa. The Rice big plays have hurt today. The quarterbacks for Rice have thrown for 3 touchdowns today. They've had a couple of long touchdown runs and lead 52-19. TU taking on SMU. That's next Saturday, and that's a 1:30 start. Or I beg your pardon, starts at noon. Coverage begins at noon as TU takes on SMU, and that again on Fox Sports Southwest. Second down after the gain of about 3. Boy, down goes Moore. And 42 McLaughlin, the defensive end out of Midwest City, bringing him to the deck.
Good job by Drew right there. He hangs on. The quarterback fumbles the snap and comes down the line. And you can see Drew shuck that right there and then grabs and hangs on and slings down the quarterback. Good play by Drew McLaughlin.
For Drew, who's the second leading tackler on the team. He had a big game against New Mexico State we did a few weeks ago, having 12 tackles in that game. Now makes it 3rd and 7 from their own 49-yard line. Third quarterback of the game, Moore, handing off fullback to the base play out of the wishbone. And that's really the go wishbone 101 on you. That's the first play you got to stop is Josh Walker, the freshman, into the game.
Well, and that's what they've gone back with their third quarterback. They're running more of just a base double slot, almost a flex bone looking offense with just dive option. I'm sure it's because it's the third quarterback and he doesn't know as much, but you saw earlier in the game a lot with their first team quarterback. They were with Kyle. They were actually spreading the field out and going one back and running a lot of different stuff, making it tough for Tulsa to cover the field.
Only the second punt of the day for the Owls. The first one was good for 21 yards by Travis Hale, and this one caught by Landrum at the 22-yard line. When we come back, the Golden Hurricane are back on offense. They scored the last time they had the ball. We're early, fourth quarter.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Here we go to start the action with Tulsa at their own 22-yard line. Here's a pass that's thrown upfield, incomplete. Looked like a good defensive play by that gentleman. But they're called Kenny Smith for pass interference.
Well, actually, he does. It is. He's got the right idea for a good defensive play, but you'll see there's too much contact when he comes over the top.
Yeah.
His body's into Montese's body. He's not clean enough coming over the top of his arm, and the crowd didn't like it, but that's a good call by the official. He gets way too much body on Montese Colton, and you're going to get called for that every time. Of course, that's coming from a wide receiver perspective.
There you go. Not a defensive back's perspective, but a wideout's perspective.
Now, if that was my team, I would that's a good play. But as you can see, the crowd is the response. But it really is. I mean, there's way too much contact. They couldn't see on this side how much body contact that he had on Montese.
You know, one guy that hasn't been mentioned today that I think Tulsa misses maybe a little bit in defending the wishbone is the defensive tackle Damon Robinson from a year ago. First down and 10. Tulsa has the ball, though, so we'll talk offense. And Gooch flares it out to the 40-yard line, and Brandon Burks up to the 45-yard line. That's the third catch for Burks today, the product out of Bishop Kelly.
You know what they run? This is a little yo-yo route. They just run Brandon inside, then right back outside. He just comes in a couple steps. In Tulsa, I've seen Tulsa try to complete that pass a lot this year to Burks, and the quarterbacks, it's a tough throw for him. It's so fast that they've been throwing it low at his feet a lot of times. and they've tried to get that ball to him a lot. It's a good quick route, something they can complete, and Tyler put it on the money right there. But that's a great first down play. That's almost it's almost like a little outside sweep. It's so quick. But you got to get the ball to him, and Tyler did it that time.
Gooch is continuing his percentage numbers. He came in throwing at 61% completion rate. He's pretty much there today. Timeout on the field. 11:34 to go in the game. Rice leading by 33.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local like no one else.
Don King, Brian Thompson with you, producer Randy Carson. Almost 1,000 yards in total offense today. We stand at 990. And look at this, a little option of Tulsa zone. And McKenzie across the 50. Oh, he fumbled the football, but they'll rule him down at the Rice 46-yard line. And that'll bring up a first down for Tulsa. Nice run by
Watch
McKenzie.
how many guys key on Tyler Gooch right here. He's got 1, 2, 3 on him, and just like Tulsa, they come and crack down on the pitch man. The receiver comes down and takes out the pitch man, so it puts Kevin McKenzie one-on-one with the corner, and you'll take that matchup every time.
First down Tulsa, number 22 on the day. And now we're at 999 total yards in the game. You know you've seen a lot of offense when you can crack the 1,000-yard mark in one game. Gooch, a little overthrown. In fact, well overthrown for Landrum to set up second down.
Well, that's why you don't see it on the scoreboard. Tulsa's well over their average on total yards in a game. They're usually at 330, and they're around 440 right now. But I think right here that Jermaine maybe doesn't take his route, break his route out deep enough, but there's a little miscommunication there. But it looked like he had his man beat and had a chance there.
Is that one of the things going from the high school level to the college level? I mean, what's the most, we'll get your answer after this second down play, maybe the most difficult thing a receiver has to learn once he goes from the prep level to the collegiate level as McKenzie gets bounced out after a yard gain?
Well, one of the biggest things is that now you have guys lining up right in your face coming off the line of scrimmage, and usually in the high school, defensive backs will play softer and allow you to free release down the field, where obviously that's easier on you. But in college, you have better athletes. You can harass a receiver at the line, and you have fast enough defensive backs and good enough cover guys and great athletes. Now they can turn and run with you and throw you off your route. And in high school, you don't see that as much. You're starting to see it more now at the larger levels, 6A, 5A. But that's a tough adjustment for wide receivers if they haven't seen a lot of that in high school, is learn how to get releases off the line of scrimmage.
Third down and 8 from the Rogers 44-yard line. Gooch in trouble, and down he goes. And a face mask is going to be called on 91, Jonathan Chisholm, the sophomore who brought Gooch down. Wow, what a bit of good fortune here. Fortunately, Tyler's okay, but what looked pretty pitiful on third down has now turned out to be what could be a first down for Tulsa and keep the thing going.
Well, this would be a big penalty, but Tyler didn't really have a chance right there. He was there. They had the right defense called. He was there so quickly, there was not much he could do.
Gooch, a year ago, was trying to get the Union Redskins to the state finals, which he did at Skelly Stadium, only to lose to Jinx. The high school state playoffs started last evening.
Personal foul, grabbing a safe man.
Cooper Castleberry, not too much of a favorite son here today. Tyler Gooch, there are his numbers. Tyler got his lip bloodied a bit. He'll hang in, and it's a first down, Tulsa. Speaking of the high school football playoffs, hope you enjoyed the game last night from Oklahoma City, where Midwest City and Edmond Santa Fe hooked up. Not many upsets, I understand, in the high school playoffs, but a big upset to the Jinx Trojans, who won 49-19 last night over Stillwater. They lost their starting quarterback, Jeff Hirschberg, so the teams in Oklahoma City have to be salivating a bit that Jinx might have come back down to the level playing field with the rest of the teams, as Gooch is on the move and out of bounds at the 20, near the first down marker.
Well, Rice didn't have anyone uncontained right here, and he does a good job. He just breaks containment. Again, good coverage by Rice downfield, and you see he has no one, and he's fast enough to get outside and turn it up the sideline, and he almost gets to the first down there.
When you think of TU quarterbacks, it's really hard to really think of many that have had the athleticism, if you will, of Gooch. I know we mentioned that Gooch is the first quarterback since Steve Gage, I think in '86, to run for over 100 yards in a game, but Steve was primarily an option quarterback. Not much on that play, but it'll be good enough for a first down, and they'll move the chains at the Rice 18-yard line.
Well, and Gage was athletic enough that he went and played defensive back for the Miami Dolphins,
right,
after playing quarterback in his college career. So you're right. That's a good comparison, but I don't know that he probably didn't throw the ball as well as Tyler Gooch does.
The only guy that I can think of that was pretty adept at throwing the ball and running the football was a quarterback Glenn Dobbs had by the name of Mike Stripling out of Holdenville, and I'm going back to the early 70s there, so predating myself a bit for some TU fans, but he was a pretty good one. First down at the Rice 18-yard line. Gooch looking for another TD pass. He has one on the day, and did he catch that? Oh, yes, he did. Darrell Wimberly with the one hand reach in through the defender and somehow come up with it. There's a flag down, however.
I'm going to tell you this is one of the best catches I've ever seen right here. He reaches around the defender one-handed and pulls that ball in. That is an unbelievable catch, and like I said earlier, if they had Donald, they would have. I know they would have called that a lot more because what an awesome catch! Wow. But they're playing press coverage on that single wide at every time. They're getting up in his face, and the Rice defender's right there. But Darrell Wimberly makes a phenomenal catch. Just great effort reaching out one-handed and trying to make something happen and hauling that ball in.
Well, you know, even though you hate to see Donald Scholes close out his TU career in a couple of years, and he's been one of the best to play wide receiver at TU, it is going to be a question mark going into the spring practice. Who's going to take over that role? Tulsa will have to find, and they've got some candidates to find the number one receiver, and Darrell Wimberly just showed us something right there why he is in the hunt. Gooch in trouble again. Down he goes. Pressure there from a guy that has done it throughout his career, Brandon Green. 10 sacks this year. It's a Rice season record. So the pass fails on the two-point conversion, but Tulsa has put 25 on the board today and trails 52-25 with 9:45 to go in the game. Even though you wouldn't think Tulsa would come back and win this one, you'd sure like to see a couple more touchdowns and give this offense and this team some hope going into the final 2 weeks of the season. Fastest way to the World Wide Web, easy. It's Cox at home. It's faster than a Tyler Gooch first down run. Cox at home in the Tulsa market at 665-0200 or the Oklahoma City market at 600-8282. Cox Digital, give them a call.
I need that. That's why our producer ran that. To kind of run that.
That's right.
I think. Well, Tulsa's battling. They're battling back. They're staying in, and they've, like I said, they've moved the ball. I mean, they moved the ball the entire game. They had some 3 and outs in the first half, but they've been pretty successful moving the ball this half.
Their Rice's first touchdown, a 42-yard run. Their next touchdown, a 58-yard pass. Then another touchdown pass. Then they got a Tulsa fumble. Then a 26-yard touchdown pass. Then a 75-yard touchdown run. Then a 15-yard touchdown run. So as you can tell, they have had some big plays today. Hatfield at the goal line and down inside the goal line. So from 40 yards out, they have come up with 3 touchdowns today.
Well, they're closing the gap on, Rice has 559 yards of total offense right now. Tulsa at 461, and Tulsa's pretty balanced. Tulsa's at 247 rushing and 214 passing, but they could easily go over 500 yards of total offense. And the score's pretty lopsided, but they've sure outscored them here in the fourth quarter.
Another guy that we haven't mentioned much today, we didn't last year, but yet it's one of the conference's better receivers, is 81 Gavin Booth. He has 1 catch today. It was good for a touchdown, but still, C.J. Scott and others have done a nice job on him today. First down, Owls at the 20-yard line. Joe Moore is back in at quarterback. Freshman out of Fort Worth. See what we got here. For those that might have missed it, OU won today 31-10 over A&M. They were down 10-0 at one time and came back to win that one. And Miami today, number 1 in the country, did win their game 18-7. First and 15. Moore will run all the way. Out of bounds at the 23-yard line. A lot of white shirts there, including number 9, Keithan McCory, the freshman 27, Jeff Thibodeau. At 99, the Jinx product. There's Justin Dixon, one of the seniors. He's really the guy that got the Jinx Union pipeline started a few years ago.
Well, Andrew Franklin right there, he started actually defensive in this game in front of Drew McLaughlin. He had a chance right there to make a play in the backfield for about a 3 or 4 yard loss, and Moore was able to get away.
Second down after the nice run. Moore is going to do it again. This time nowhere to go, and down he goes. McLaughlin 42 gets some help there from 44 Dupree. Well, you saw the Pizza Hut sign. That's a subliminal message before the play. And now let Pizza Hut cook dinner for you tonight. Visit your hometown Pizza Hut. The Tulsa or Oklahoma City area for dine-in or carry-out. Choose from your favorite crust topped to its fresh toppings and cooked to perfection. Pizza Hut, a taste you can't get anywhere else. Don King, Brian Thompson, producer Randy Carson, director Joe Day, and handling the numbers today in the truck. Good job by Jeff Bowen. They made the trek from Oklahoma down to Houston, and the defense starting to come along for the Golden Hurricane. Keithan McCory leading the way. Drew McLaughlin is in there on the party as well. And that'll set up 4th down and another punting situation here as the Tulsa defense holds again in the 4th quarter.
Well, Tulsa's offense gets another chance here. They're kind of on a roll. 2 straight touchdowns, and they should get the ball back in fairly decent position here.
Very similar situation on the part of the field last year when Donald Scholes returns the punt for the touchdown and really ignited Tulsa to their first Keith Burns win. Scholes has been absent today. He's out with a twisted ankle.
Well, Landon certainly has the speed to break it if he gets any kind of crease at all.
Tulsa has thrown 20 completions today to 9 different receivers. Landrum looking for his first touchdown after McKenzie today gets his first touchdown. And how about Houston native Jarrett Nixon catching a touchdown at the end of the first half. Landrum near midfield gets a good block, turns the corner, another good block to the 40. He's off and running to the 20. The freshman from Veneta with a good movement inside the 10-yard line. How about that?
Well, you saw right there why they want to get the ball in his hands. He's fast. Tulsa does a great job on setting up the wall there. You can see they set up a wall, a return right. He's got blockers in position. Darrell Wimberly, a good block downfield. And then it's all Jermaine Landrum. He just used his speed and is able to get him down inside the 10 for great field position for Tulsa's offense.
42-yard return down to the Rice 9-yard line where it is first and goal. Midway through the fourth quarter. Most points Tulsa has put up this year, obviously. Their season opening win, 51-0 over Indiana State. Since then, the 27 points on the board at San Jose a couple of weeks ago. They'd like to eclipse that here on this series. Blankenship in motion. McKenzie steps through a tackle and drives down to the 4-yard line. Brought down by 17, Antoine Shell, a junior out of Mississippi.
Well, good cut by McKenzie. He cuts it back and is able to find a little crease and gets him down close to the goal line. He's been running well all day.
Mark it down at the 4. McKenzie leads the team in rushing today, or actually Gooch does, but McKenzie, as far as the running backs, he's got 80 yards. Burnett has 37 yards. Eric Richardson has played but has not carried the football. Second and goal from the 4. Good opening. Touchdown, Tulsa. Kevin McKenzie with his second touchdown here in the fourth quarter. And the third for TU in his mini-series.
Well, take another look at it again. Let's do the same play. McKenzie goes off, finds another crease, and is able to get in the end zone. Gets a good block outside by Caleb Blankenship. And again, they put points on the board again.
3 touchdowns in their last 3 possessions. Chris Ernest will try the extra point. Chris is a Houston native out of Second Baptist High School. And the senior adds the extra point. So there's a break in the action. 7:07 to go in the game. And Tulsa has closed the gap to 20.
You're watching.
It's Rice 52, Tulsa 32.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
Houston, Texas, the site of Rice Stadium, and the University of Tulsa putting another touchdown on the board. 52-32. Closed it to 20 with 7 minutes to go. And it looks as though Chris Ernest has set up for the onside kick, and Rice now notices that and calls a timeout. Ken Hatfield coached at Arkansas in the Southwest Conference, coached at Air Force when it was in the Western Athletic Conference. In fact, he's one of only 3 coaches, is Coach Hatfield, to be a head coach at 2 different WAC schools. Can you name the other 2? One of them has Tulsa ties. I'll give you the other one, Dennis Francione, who coached at New Mexico and then at TCU. But there's one more, and he's got Tulsa ties, played at TU. While you ponder that trivia question, let me tell you about the following promo. And that would be TU women's basketball, and their schedule coming up. Tomorrow at 2, they'll take on the Houston Jaguars. That's actually a team from this area that is comprised of some pro players out of the WNBA. And they'll be at Oklahoma State for the Bertha Teague Classic. That is next Saturday at 6. And then Sunday, they'll take on OU at 8 o'clock. Look at the games there by the asterisk that will be televised here on Cox Communications. The 27th of November, they'll take on Oral Roberts University. And then December 5th, the Wednesday, they take on Arkansas. Then they get to enjoy the trip to Cancun, Mexico. You going on that trip, Brian?
Yeah, I'm sure I am.
Now Rice calls the timeout. They get their all hands team in, if you will, and TU decides to kick it to the other side. And the onside kick is obviously covered by the Rice Owls. And number 6, Matt Weber, a backup wide receiver. How often do teams work on the onside kick?
Probably once or twice a week.
Really?
I mean, yeah, it's something you have to work on. And I'm surprised you don't ever see it in college. If you watch an NFL game, those kickers now can get that high bounce every time.
They do.
And I don't know what the difference is, but you don't see that in college. Those guys aren't able to do the same thing. But I know the kickers they're on their own usually during practice, so they can
practice all day long.
But as far as with the team, probably once or twice a week.
Well, we've got Greg Henderson, the number 2 quarterback. He is back in after Joe Moore was somewhat ineffective here in the 4th quarter. So they brought in another freshman quarterback. He is their number 2 quarterback. And a nice option pitch and out of bounds is number 23. That is Clint Hatfield. He has had a big day today for the Rice Owls.
Well, Keith McCory does a pretty good job right here. He does what he's supposed to do. He plays the quarterback, and he's able to move laterally to work on the pitch, and that's what they wanted him to do. The linebacker has got to come and take the quarterback. In the bandit and rover positions, they have to kind of play both, and then you've got the free safety that's solely pitch, and Keithley did a pretty good job right there. He made the quarterback pitch the ball, but was also able to push the guy out of bounds, the pitch man out of bounds.
Still questioning whether it's a first down or not, and it is not. It is a 2nd and short at the TU 34-yard line. That's a first down. Michael Delaney yet in another tackle. Derek Gray getting, I think, his first carry of the day, number 21. He is a senior out of San Antonio. A gain of about 4 or 5. Tulsa would love a turnover. Each team has had only 1 turnover today. So take a look at Delaney. He is a junior. He'll be back next year. Leading tackler on the TU team. In fact, really, there are only just a handful of significant players that TU loses this squad in the year 2001. Scholes would be one. Kevin Schaefer off the offensive line, I think, would be one. Sam Rayburn at nose guard would be another. By the way, Harold Burgess did not make the trip down today. One of the seniors, he's out with a hand injury.
Well, they're going to run a little option, and Henderson turns it back. Drew McLaughlin does a good job staying at home and in, and is able to make that play on Henderson.
593 total yards today for the Rice Owls. And Henderson dropped behind the line by McLaughlin. Another significant senior we were just talking about. He's certainly going to be one of them. The defensive end out of Midwest City drops the quarterback back at the 29-yard line.
You can see right here, he's on Henderson immediately. He has nowhere to go. He doesn't have time to pitch the ball. Tulsa had the pitch covered as well. So great play by Drew McLaughlin.
Rice now back down to 589 in total yards. That is the second highest total yardage in a game under Ken Hatfield at Rice. Third down and 10. Oh, nice job by Henderson here. Up the gut he goes, down to the 12-yard line, and a flag's going to go down, as it looked as though C.J. Scott might have gotten a little bit of the face mask. Unfortunate. 17-yard run, and they'll tack on some more.
Well, Keithan McCory almost makes the sack in the backfield. They sent pressure. They brought Keithan and they brought Michael Delaney. An all-out blitz, and Michael got bumped right at the last, and Keithan had a chance there, but wasn't able to hang on.
So that'll set up a 1st and goal situation, more than likely, at the TU 6-yard line. Our referee today is Cooper Castleberry. Other games in the conference today: Fresno at SMU, Nevada at San Jose State, that's about ready to kick off, Louisiana Tech at UTEP tonight, and Boise State at Hawaii with a 10 o'clock kickoff. At one time, we'd heard SMU was actually leading Fresno, but that was in the second quarter. Down to the 5-yard line for a 1-yard gain is Hatfield. He is a freshman out of Clewiston, Florida, and he has had a great game today. Very productive game, returning punts and kicks and running the football. He has carried the ball now for almost 100 yards.
How about if you mentioned, how about if La Tech or if UTEP could find a way to beat La Tech? That would really, well, that would knot it up.
Wouldn't that everybody'd have 2 losses? Louisiana Tech,
Boise, and Fresno.
Rice would have 2. If Fresno beats SMU, they'd still have 2 losses. Boise State and Hawaii, that's a big one tonight because Hawaii's 5-2 in the league and Boise State's 4-2. You'd have to think that that's going to knock one of them out of the one of the bowl pictures. You look at the overall records: Fresno 7-2, Hawaii 6-2, and Rice 6-3, about to become 7-3, and a touchdown for the Owls. And that one belongs to a freshman out of nearby Klein High School. That's Ed Bailey, his first touchdown in a Rice uniform.
Well, he just makes a nice cut right there, and Delaney's not able to scrape outside and make the play, but with a couple of yards, I mean, once you break that initial containment, you're going to get in the end zone.
Derek Crabtree will try another extra point. And he is about, I believe, to set a new Rice record. This will be his 7th extra point kick today, and it is good. And he ties a Tulsa native for most extra points in a Rice game with 7. It's a Holland Hall product.
Bagwell.
Johnny Bagwell, exactly. Had 7 extra point kicks. And Derek Crabtree has just tied him. There you see, number 12. And there's Keith Burns.
You're going to have to give me a hint on the coaching one. I haven't figured
Oh yes, I do need to give you the coaching answer.
I don't want the answer, I just want a hint.
He coached at UTEP and coached at BYU. There's TU's ticket number. Tickets for all TU athletic events, whether it's the next 2 Tulsa football games, the next 2 Saturdays, or the basketball season. And there are season tickets remaining for Tulsa basketball. 631-GO-TU, 631-4688. We were talking earlier, Brian and I, about Ken Hatfield being one of only 3 coaches to coach at 2 different schools in the Western Athletic Conference. He coached at Air Force and now at Rice. And we mentioned Dennis Francione, the other, at New Mexico, and then TCU when it got into the conference. Tommy Hudspeth was a former TU player, great TU player, former head coach of the Detroit Lions. He at one time was the head coach at Texas El Paso and at BYU.
And you told me now he's a TV star, isn't he?
Yeah, he's seen in a couple of commercials lately.
He's very active in the TU community, always has been. Loves Tulsa, and he's always around the Tulsa program and always just does positive things.
He is one of the great ambassadors that has represented the University of Tulsa very well. Tulsa will take over 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Well, we actually had him come speak at one of our team dinners to our players, and he's an ambassador of athletics and football. I mean, of what it does for young kids, and he's boy, it was awesome. He is awesome, and you're right.
It's a pleasure to be around. Inside Tulsa football coming up Monday night in Tulsa at 7 o'clock, Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock in the Oklahoma City market. Bruce Howard is your host. Keith Burns, the head coach. And there are the times and the channel. First down, Tulsa. Gooch still in at quarterback from the 20-yard line. Under pressure, fires incomplete. Looking for Landrum up near the 30-yard line.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't see no one. DJ Barnett was his outlet right there. No one covered him. DJ just kind of swung out of the backfield, and I thought he might flip it out there to DJ. There was no one within 15 yards of him, but of course Tyler's looking downfield trying to get the first down.
Look at DJ Barnett, the sophomore out of Okmulgee, who has run the ball 8 times and has caught a couple of passes today. 59-32. Tulsa trailing by 4 touchdowns. And the pass up to Jared Roach, good for a couple of yards. That'll make it 3rd down and about 8.
Well, you can see they just run a little flat route with Jared Roach and Tyler gets the ball out there. But again, they're really covering those inside receivers. They're doubling them up, and they're rolling the corners up on the outside, so it's tough to throw anything into the flats out there and have any success.
Gooch, and again, the offensive line is giving him the time, and what a catch and throw that was at the 35-yard line. Montez Colton, my partner on the radio show, Chris Plank from AM 1430 The Buzz. We each picked a player on each team from OU, OSU, and Tulsa before the season started, and he picked Colton as his surprise player. And Montez's nickname is Money, and he's been that today. He's had a good game.
He's got 109 yards right now. He's over the 100-yard mark, and usually the only guy you see doing that's Donald Scholes, but he's playing Donald's position and probably getting a lot of good routes where he's able to get open, and they're going to get him the football.
From the 35-yard line, another nice catch. This is Wimberly to midfield. First down, Tulsa. They're on the move again with 2:40 to go.
And that play right there put Tulsa close to 500 yards of total offense, which I'm sure is the most they've been, or even around that high of number of yards since probably the first game against Indiana State.
Wimberly almost got his hands on that one at the 40-yard line. Gooch today, 189 yards passing and 135 yards running the football. He got Tulsa on the board first with a 49-yard TD run. That one's tipped at the line.
Well, he almost made another one-handed catch. Boy, that catch earlier, that's a highlight field. That's going to be on Al's highlight zone.
Wimberly with a touchdown. If you might have missed it a few minutes ago, he made a one-handed catch through the defender in the end zone. Tyler's on the move to the 50 and out of bounds at the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 6. It'll set up 3rd down and about 4.
Well, again, good coverage downfield, and Tyler just steps up in the pocket and slides outside. He's got enough speed that he can break containment and is able to pick up some good yardage.
52nd year they have played football here at Rice Stadium. They call it the Nest, and if any bird would have a nest this big, he wouldn't know what to do with himself. 7th meeting between the two schools. Rice leads the series 4 wins to 1, and there's been a tie. The first time they met, it was a 0-0 tie. This pass goes incomplete to set up 4th down. first met in 1937. And they're playing for the Williams Cup. As we mentioned, Williams Company is very well situated in the Tulsa and Houston markets.
Well, they have, I believe, Rice and SMU play for another cup, so they've got a couple
Mayor's
of games.
Cup.
Yep.
And then they play Houston for something called the Bayou Bucket. So Rice certainly tries to adorn their trophy case with 3 particular games during the season with hardware up for grabs. Gooch on 4th and 4. He's out of real estate. He's got a fire, incomplete, looking for Clint Roundtree, number 89, I think it was. And so Rice will take over with 2:06 remaining.
Well, he just ran out of real estate right there, and that's all he could do. He couldn't run and get it, so he had to try and go ahead and try to force the ball in there to Roundtree, but good coverage by Rice downfield.
Our first TU women's basketball game on Cox Communications as we turn our attention toward hoops. Should be a good one. Crosstown rivalry between Kathy McConnell Miller's Tulsa Lady Golden Hurricane and Jerry Finkbinder's Golden Eagles from ORU. Thursday, November 27th. TU and ORU live coverage beginning at 7 o'clock. Channel 3 in Oklahoma City, Channel 9 in Tulsa. There's some Oklahoma City girls on the TU team. So in the Oklahoma City market, you'll want to watch that one. 6-yard gain here by Bradley, Leroy Bradley. Up to midfield, 2nd down coming up.
Well, they're still looking over there for those signals. They're still signaling in from the sideline.
That is something that's kind of interesting when you think of the wishbone. Now they are in the true wishbone. And Derek Gray trying to turn the corner and does, and drives inside the 40-yard line. Josh Dupree, 44, is there. Not before Derek Gray moves the sticks. And an 11-yard run.
Yeah, they line up in the traditional bone for one of the first times, and he's able to get outside. But again, you see how many running backs Hatfield has that can play. I mean, like I said earlier, he recruits guys to play his style offense, and he's got a lot of horses back there that can go.
Minute 20 to go. Gray runs over the junior college transfer from Mississippi, number 4, Don Gibson, but he hangs on. Gain of 7. Rice is now up to 635 yards, I believe it is. Total offense. They're closing in on the Ken Hatfield Rice record. 2nd down and 3. Just under a minute to go. 59-32 Rice. Inside the 20-yard line goes Derek Gray, and again it is Gibson to make the stop.
Well, I think here they're going to have time for a couple more plays. We're just going to see more of the same. They're just lining up in the bone and run a little ISO play where they lead a fullback on a linebacker, and we've seen that the last 2 plays. I'm sure we'll see it the last couple.
Again, Rice will close out their season next week at home against UTEP, and then in 2 weeks at SMU. I believe that game against SMU is going to be on Fox Sports Southwest. They'll give the runner the forward progress to the 15-yard line. They'll make it 2nd down, but that should be it, and it will. As Keith Burns is flanked by his 2 boys, Tanner and Casey. Antonio Porter, the highway patrolman, director of security for football operations at TU. They had to congratulate Ken Hatfield on his win, and the Rice Owls have indeed taken care of Tulsa this afternoon and have 7 victories on the board. Best season for Rice since 1949. And a 59-32 verdict here before a handful of people in Houston. We'll come back and wrap it up in a moment on Cox Communications.
You're watching Cox Communications Channel 3, Oklahoma City, Channel 9, Tulsa. Local, like no one else.
91 points put on the scoreboard today, and certainly well over 1,100 yards in total offense between the two schools. It was the big plays, though, of the Rice University Owls to run their record to 7-3. Tulsa's losing streak now stretches to 8 games, but Tyler Gooch today, Brian Thompson, 21 of 37, 204 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 140 yards running the football. So today a total of 344 yards total offense.
Well, in Tulsa, that's one thing Tulsa's got to be pleased about. Their offense got going in the second half, and the last couple of weeks against OU, they only had 138 yards of offense, so they got their offense rolling today, and it's a tough Rice offense to stop, and so they got it going on offense, so they've got something to look forward to next week. And you can see there 506 yards of total offense. They were pretty balanced on offense, 261 and 245, but where it was lopsided was the rushing yards for Rice, almost 500 yards rushing, and it's tough to win when you control the ball like that on offense and you can run as effectively as Rice did.
And the turnovers really didn't matter in the game as far as the verdict. It was Rice's ability to make the long plays, a 42-yard touchdown run for the first touchdown, a 58-yard touchdown run, pass, a 75-yard touchdown run in the second half. Another new star for the University of Tulsa Golden Hurricane, taking the place of the injured Donald Scholes, was Montez Colton, the redshirt freshman out of Duncanville, Texas. 8 catches today, 109 yards. And again, the Houston native, senior Jarrett Nixon, with his first catch today and his first career touchdown, I should say. And it was a dandy. And Darrell Wimberly with the highlight reel, a 20-yard touchdown catch late in the game. So those are the numbers, and TU will, of course, close out the season next week against SMU at home, and then in 2 weeks, we'll be back with you on Cox Communications against Louisiana Tech. Next week, the game against SMU on Fox Sports Southwest. Brian Thompson, enjoyed it. We'll do it again in a couple of weeks.
All righty.
Thank you, sir. Have a safe trip back home. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing you Western Athletic Conference football from Houston, Texas. For our producer, Randy Carson, for director Joe Day, for the stats, Jeff Bowen, for Brian Thompson, Don King, hoping you enjoyed it. And we say goodbye from Houston on Cox Communications.
The preceding program was produced through the facilities of the Production Services Group at Cox Communications.